The universe is not just expanding. It is flowing like a dark, invisible river into a terrifying cosmic drain. For decades, we believed the cosmos was drifting apart, pushing galaxies into a cold, lonely isolation. We were wrong. Something massive is out there, lurking in the shadows of deep space, waiting for us. It is pulling everything, our sun, our Earth, and the atoms in your body, towards it with irresistible force. Astronomers call it the Great Attractor, but the name implies a beauty that masks the absolute terror of its existence. It is a gravitational anomaly so powerful that it defies the standard model of cosmology and breaks our physics. But here's the part that keeps astrophysicists awake at night. We are strictly forbidden from seeing it. By a cruel cosmic coincidence, this titan lies directly behind the dense dust of our own Milky Way galaxy. We call this blinded region the zone of avoidance, a dark curtain drawn across the theater of the void. We know it is there only because we can feel the terrifying speed of our own descent into the unknown. You are currently hurtling through the void at 1.3 million miles per hour towards a cosmic crash. This is not a theory. This is a measurable, verifiable trajectory towards an unknown colossus that is eating the sky. Imagine a magnet so strong it drags metal across a room. That is what is happening to our entire galaxy. The force required to pull the Milky Way and Andromeda is equivalent to 1,000,000 billion suns crushing together. Yet, when we point our most advanced radio telescopes at the source, we see almost nothing but static and dust. Is it a supermassive black hole, a cluster of dead galaxies, or a tear in the fabric of reality itself? The terrifying reality is that we are accelerating towards a destination we cannot identify, and we cannot stop. Every second that ticks by on your watch, you are 400 miles closer to this forbidden object. This defies the logic of the Big Bang, which dictates that expansion should be pushing us away from everything. Instead, we are caught in a current, a dark flow, dragging us into the unknown against the tide of creation. When scientists first noticed this motion in the 1970s, they thought their equipment was broken or their minds were failing. The data suggested a mass concentration so dense, it shouldn't be possible in our universe under current physical laws. If it were a black hole, it would need to be large enough to swallow entire galaxy clusters whole. We are like sailors on a calm ocean, unaware of the waterfall thundering just beyond the horizon of our vision. The zone of avoidance covers 20% of our sky, hiding the monster in plain sight from our best instruments. X-ray surveys attempt to pierce the dust, but the image remains blurry, inconclusive, and frustratingly dark. Some theories suggest it isn't an object at all, but a focal point of gravity from another dimension leaking through. Others believe it is the corpse of the universe that came before ours, still exerting its pull from the grave. Whatever it is, it dominates our local group of galaxies with an iron grip that we cannot escape. We are not wandering aimlessly. We are being summoned by a cosmic authority that demands our presence. The scary part isn't the destination. It is the silence that greets our inquiries into the nature of this beast. Why does the universe hide its most massive feature behind a veil of galactic dust and starlight? It feels intentional, as if humanity is being shielded from a truth that would break our understanding of existence. We look at the data, and the math screams that something gigantic is missing from our maps of the cosmos. This is the gravitational equivalent of finding a skyscraper in the middle of an empty desert with no explanation. The Great Attractor is the ultimate forbidden object because physics says it shouldn't be there, yet it controls us. Yet the constellations you see at night are slowly warping as we rush toward it with increasing velocity. Our entire local sheet of galaxies is sliding toward this gravitational drain like water spiraling down a sink. Even the expansion of space itself, the strongest force in the universe, is struggling to counteract this massive pull. We are flies trapped in a spiderweb, and we cannot see the spider that spun it in the dark. Modern surveys have revealed the Shapley supercluster behind it, but even that isn't enough mass to explain the speed. There is a ghost in the machine of the cosmos, a missing variable in the equation of our doom. Are we simply falling into a bottomless pit of gravity that has no bottom and no end? The implications for our future are bleak. Isolation is replaced by collision, and silence is replaced by destruction. We used to fear the dark, but perhaps we should fear what is pulling us into it with such violence. The speed is increasing, the grip is tightening, the destination remains obscured by the very galaxy we live in. In the vastness of space, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is a warning sign that we are in danger. We are about to peel back the layers of the zone of avoidance to see the monster underneath the bed. What we find might rewrite the laws of physics, or it might end them forever in a singularity. Prepare yourself, because the reality of the Great Attractor is worse than any fiction we could invent. To understand the gravity of the situation, we must first examine the victim of this cosmic crime, the standard model of cosmology. For decades, astronomers operated under the strict assumption of the cosmological principle, a comforting but fragile law stating that on a sufficiently large scale, the universe is homogeneous and isotropic. This means that no matter where you stand in the cosmos, the distribution of matter should look roughly the same, a uniform sea of galaxies expanding gently outward from the Big Bang, with no special centers, no edges, and certainly no monsters lurking in the deep. But when investigators began mapping the peculiar velocities of galaxies in our local neighborhood, the data refused to align with the theory. The galaxies were not just drifting apart as the laws of expansion dictated, they were participating in a massive, coordinated migration. It was as if a silent alarm had been triggered across millions of light years, and billions of stars were fleeing a specific sector of the sky, or perhaps being dragged toward it against their will by a force we could not see. The first piece of damning evidence came not from the stars themselves, but from the heat they left behind, the cosmic microwave background radiation. This is the afterglow of the Big Bang, a relic of the primordial fire that permeates every cubic centimeter of the universe. Theoretically, this background temperature should be perfectly uniform, measuring exactly 2.7 Kelvin in every direction. However, when we analyzed the temperature map with high-precision instruments, we found a terrifying bruise on the face of the universe. One side of the sky was slightly hotter, blue-shifted, indicating that we are moving toward it, while the opposite side was cooler, red-shifted, indicating we are moving away. This phenomena, known as the CMB dipole, was the smoking gun. It proved that our entire galaxy is not stationary, nor is it merely expanding. It is rushing through space at a breakneck speed, caught in a gravitational riptide that the standard model failed to predict. The velocity at which we are traveling is not just a statistical anomaly, it is a terrifying display of raw kinetic energy. Our solar system orbits the Milky Way at a steady pace, but the galaxy itself is hurtling through the intergalactic medium at nearly 600 kilometers per second. To put that into perspective, at this speed, you could travel from Earth to the Moon in under 10 minutes. This motion is distinct from the general expansion of the universe, which pushes galaxies apart. This is peculiar motion, a term astronomers use to describe movement caused by local gravitational attraction. But local is a relative term. The force required to accelerate a mass as large as the Milky Way, along with our neighbors in the local group, including the massive Andromeda galaxy, to such velocities implies a gravitational source of incomprehensible scale. We are being pulled by the equivalent mass of tens of thousands of galaxies, concentrated in a region that, for the longest time, appeared to be completely empty. In the late 1980s, a group of astronomers who would come to be known as the Seven Samurai decided to hunt down this ghost. Led by Donald Lynden Bell, they meticulously measured the distances and velocities of 400 elliptical galaxies to trace the flow of the river of space we are caught in. What they found shattered the idea of a uniform universe. They discovered that all the galaxies in our sector, spanning hundreds of millions of light years, were streaming toward a single point in the constellations of Hydra and Centaurus. The data was irrefutable. There was a massive mass concentration, a gravitational drain, sitting out there in the dark. They dubbed it the Great Attractor, a name that evokes both the scientific magnitude of the discovery and the Lovecraftian horror of a hidden colossus that has been quietly reeling us in since the birth of our solar system. The investigation immediately hit a wall, literally. The universe, in a display of cruel irony, has hidden the Great Attractor in the one place we absolutely cannot look. It lies directly behind the zone of avoidance. This is the region of the sky obscured by the Milky Way's own galactic plane. Our galaxy is a flat disk filled with dense clouds of interstellar dust, gas, and billions of stars, which acts like a thick, impenetrable curtain blocking our view of the universe beyond. Roughly 20% of the extragalactic sky is hidden from our optical telescopes by this dust lane. It just so happens that the most massive, powerful, and threatening object in our local universe sits squarely in the center of this blind spot. We are like a person standing in a thick fog, feeling the heat of a fire they cannot see, knowing only that it is huge, it is close, and it is pulling them closer with every step. Attempting to peer through the zone of avoidance is one of the most frustrating challenges in modern astronomy. Optical light, the kind our eyes and standard telescopes see, is absorbed and scattered by the dust in the Milky Way's disk, rendering the Great Attractor invisible to traditional observation. It's not just dark, it's opaque. For decades, astronomers stared at this blank patch of sky, analyzing the static, knowing that behind that veil lay the answer to our galaxy's desperate motion. The mystery transformed the Great Attractor from a mere scientific puzzle into a forbidden object. It felt intentional, as if the architecture of the cosmos was designed to isolate us from the truth of our surroundings. We were allowed to see the distant, harmless quasars at the edge of time, but the monster in our own backyard was cloaked and daggered by the very stars that give us light. Only with the advent of radio astronomy and X-ray observation could we begin to pierce the veil. Unlike visible light, X-rays and radio waves can pass through the galactic dust relatively unhindered, allowing us to build a grainy, low-resolution picture of what lies in the zone of avoidance. What slowly emerged from the static was a nightmare of structural density. We began to see the Norma Cluster, a massive accumulation of galaxies located near the center of the attractor. But even this discovery presented a new, more disturbing problem. The Norma Cluster was huge, yes, weighing in at about 1,000 trillion suns. But when the Seven Samurai crunched the numbers, the math didn't balance. The mass of the Norma Cluster was significant, but it was nowhere near heavy enough to account for the sheer violence of the pull we were experiencing. We were moving too fast. The magnet we found wasn't strong enough to explain the speed of the metal. This discrepancy led to a terrifying realization. The Great Attractor wasn't just a single object. It was likely just the tip of the iceberg. If the Norma Cluster wasn't heavy enough to be the engine of our motion, there had to be something else, something even bigger, lurking even deeper in the shadows behind it. We were looking at a trap door, thinking it was the basement, only to realize it opened into a cavern. The investigative trail led astronomers further back, deeper into the zone of avoidance, to a distance of over 650 million light-years. There, looming behind the Great Attractor like a shadow puppet master, was the Shapley supercluster. This is one of the most massive concentrations of galaxies in the observable universe, a beast containing more than 8,000 galaxies packed into a dense ball of gravitational dominance. The discovery of the Shapley supercluster seemed to solve the riddle, but only for a moment. It is indeed a titan, a structure so vast it bends light and time around it. But even with its immense mass added to the equation, the numbers still refuse to add up perfectly. The peculiar velocity of the Milky Way and the local group was still slightly faster than what the combined mass of the Great Attractor and the Shapley supercluster could explain. We are missing mass. There is a dark flow component to our movement that implies there are structures even further out, perhaps beyond the horizon of the observable universe, that are contributing to this tug-of-war. We are being pulled by a chain of monsters, each one larger and more distant than the last, stretching out into the infinite black. This investigation fundamentally changed our understanding of our place in the universe. We are not living in a static distribution of star systems. We are living in a dynamic, flowing watershed of gravity. Just as water flows down mountains into valleys and rivers, eventually reaching the ocean, galaxies flow through the cosmos. In 2014, a team of scientists mapped these cosmic flows and defined our home not just as the Milky Way, but as a small suburb of a supercluster they named Laniakea, Hawaiian for immeasurable heaven. But this name is deceptive. Laniakea is not a heaven. It is a basin. It is a gravitational valley. And like all valleys, everything inside it is sliding down towards the lowest point. That bottomless drain at the center of Laniakea? That is the Great Attractor. We are not just exploring space, we are falling down a well. The concept of Laniakea introduced a new form of cosmic horror, the realization that our galaxy has a life cycle tied to its geography. We are currently on the outskirts of this supercluster, drifting inwards. Over billions of years, gravity will win the war against expansion in this local region. The galaxies of Laniakea are bound together. While the rest of the universe expands and fades away into the dark, our local reality is destined to crunch together. We are being herded into a compact region of space, where collisions, mergers, and chaos will reign. The Great Attractor is not just a location, it is our future tomb. The flow lines of the universe map our destiny, and all roads lead to the zone of avoidance. The map of the cosmos is not a chart of land, it is a diagram of a sinking ship. But the mystery gets stranger. As we scrutinize the velocity maps, we noticed something even more unsettling than the attraction. We aren't just being pulled from the front, we are being pushed from behind. Opposite the Great Attractor in the sky, there is a region of space that appears to be terrifyingly empty, a void. This region creates a, quote, push effect, effectively repelling galaxies away from it. Astronomers have termed this the dipole repeller. It acts like the negative pole to the Great Attractor's positive pole. We are caught in a cosmic pincer maneuver. A vast emptiness is shoving us from one side, while a monstrous density pulls us from the other. We are being bullied by the architecture of the universe, squeezed between the nothingness and the everything. The existence of the dipole repeller highlights the terrifying power of nothing in deep space. A void is not passive. It is an active participant in the gravitational dynamics of the cosmos. Because it lacks mass, its gravity is weaker than the surrounding average density of the universe. This creates an effective repulsive force. Material flows away from the void toward regions of higher density. It is an anti-gravity engine made of pure emptiness. We are fleeing the void as much as we are seeking the cluster. This push-pull dynamic accelerates our journey into the dark, ensuring that we never settle, never stop, and never escape the flow. It paints a picture of a universe that is hostile to stagnation, forcing its constituents into a violent dance of convergence. What lies at the heart of the Great Attractor that demands such obedience from millions of galaxies? The prevailing theory is that it is a convergence point of cosmic filaments, vast strands of dark matter that form the skeleton of the universe. Galaxies grow like mold on these invisible threads, and where the threads intersect, you get monsters like the Norma and Shapley clusters. But here is the unsettling truth. Dark matter accounts for 85% of the matter in the universe. We cannot see it, touch it, or interact with it, yet it dictates our reality. The Great Attractor is essentially a cathedral of dark matter, a monument to the invisible substance that actually rules the cosmos. We are merely the visible decorations on a structure built by ghosts. Even with our best maps, the zone of avoidance refuses to yield all its secrets. There are hints of even larger structures lurking beyond the Shapley supercluster, structures that our current instruments can barely resolve. Some researchers have proposed the existence of a Vela supercluster hidden in the dust, another massive wall of galaxies adding to the gravitational chorus. It feels like every time we pull back a curtain, we find another larger wall behind it. The universe is not scaling down as we explore, it is scaling up. The structures are getting bigger, the forces are getting stronger, and our significance is getting smaller. The deeper we look into the zone, the more we realize how little of the grand picture we can actually see. Let's talk about the speed again, because the numbers are the only thing that separates this from fantasy. 600 kilometers per second. If you were moving that fast, you would encircle the Earth in just over a minute. But on the cosmic scale, this is a crawl. It will take billions of years for us to reach the Great Attractor. However, time is not the comfort you think it is. The journey itself is fraught with danger. As we move deeper into the dense regions of the Laniakea supercluster, the density of intergalactic gas increases. We are moving from the clear air of the void into the smog of the city. This interaction could strip our galaxy of its own gas, strangling the formation of new stars. The Great Attractor might kill us long before we ever reach it, simply by suffocating our galaxy as we approach. There is a theory, controversial but persistent, known as dark flow. While the Great Attractor explains much of our local motion, some measurements suggest a flow that extends across the entire observable universe, a drift of galaxy clusters towards a point far beyond the cosmic horizon, effectively outside the visible universe. If true, this means the Great Attractor is just a local pothole on a road leading to something truly infinite. It implies that our universe is not an isolated bubble, but part of a larger, tilted landscape, sliding towards a megastructure in a multiverse we can never access. The Great Attractor would then be merely a symptom of a much larger, darker pathology in the structure of reality itself. The investigative trail brings us back to the question of why? Why is the universe lumpy? Why isn't it a smooth, perfect spread of atoms? The answer lies in the quantum fluctuations of the Big Bang, microscopic jitters in the fabric of reality that were inflated to cosmic sizes. The Great Attractor exists because of a random roll of the quantum dice 13.8 billion years ago. A slight overdensity in the primordial soup grew and grew and grew, feeding on gravity until it became the monster that eats galaxies. We are the victims of a chaotic accident at the beginning of time. There is no grand design here, only the ruthless compounding interest of gravity. The largest structures in the universe are merely the scars of its violent birth. When we look at the Great Attractor through the lens of the future, the existential dread sets in. Dark energy is accelerating the expansion of the universe, pushing distant galaxies away faster than light. But the Great Attractor is winning the local battle. The expansion of space will tear the distant universe away from us, leaving us isolated. But it will not save us from the attractor. We are gravitationally bound. In the far future, when the rest of the universe has faded into blackness, the Great Attractor will be the only thing left in our sky. It will be our entire universe, a converging ball of ancient dying galaxies huddled together against the cold. The forbidden object is not just an anomaly. It is the final destination of everything we will ever know. The psychological impact of the Great Attractor cannot be overstated. For most of human history, we believed Earth was the center of everything. Then the sun, then the galaxy. Now we realize we are not central at all. We are flotsam in a current. We are debris. The Great Attractor strips us of our agency. We are not explorers charting our own course. We are passengers on a raft that has already been caught in the falls. The data is cold and indifferent, but the narrative it tells is one of overwhelming submission to forces vastly beyond our control. The investigation concludes not with a solution, but with a submission. We are going there, whether we want to or not. Let's reassess the scale of the zone of avoidance. It sounds like a sci-fi trope, a forbidden zone in a dystopian novel, but it is a rigorous astronomical term. It blocks 20% of the sky. Imagine walking through a forest, but 20% of your vision is permanently blacked out. You can hear twigs snapping in the darkness. You can feel the ground sloping downward into the shadow. That is our situation. The avoidance refers to our avoidance of using that data because it was too hard to clean, but the universe avoids nothing. The monsters hide in the blind spots. It is a harsh reminder that our perspective is limited by our biology and our location. We are trapped inside the disk of the Milky Way, trying to look out through the dirty window of our own home. New technologies are finally beginning to scrape away the dirt. The Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa and the ASKAP in Australia are mapping the hidden sky with unprecedented clarity. They are finding hundreds of new galaxies in the zone of avoidance, filling in the blanks of our map. Each dot they add to the chart increases the calculated mass of the Great Attractor. It's like watching a picture download on a slow connection, pixel by pixel, revealing the face of a demon. We are finding that the region is even more densely packed than the pessimists predicted. The density contrasts are sharper, the gravity wells are deeper, and the Great Wall of galaxies hiding there is thicker than we imagined. Consider the wall. In astronomy, a wall is a filament of galaxies, a sheet of matter stretching across the void. The Great Attractor is associated with the Centaurus Wall. Walls are the largest known structures in the universe, dwarfing superclusters. If the Great Attractor is the drain, the Centaurus Wall is the slope leading down to it. These structures are so large that they challenge the time of the universe. Some physicists argue that there hasn't been enough time since the Big Bang for gravity to assemble structures of this size. The existence of the Great Attractor and its associated walls suggests that our timeline of the early universe might be wrong, or that gravity behaved differently in the chaotic dawn of time. The anomaly also serves as a laboratory for extreme physics. In the crush of the Great Attractor, galaxy mergers are commonplace. When galaxies collide, They don't just bump. They pass through each other like ghosts, but their gas clouds smash together, igniting furious bursts of star formation. It is a region of violent rebirth and catastrophic death. Supernovae go off like popcorn. Black holes merge and send gravitational waves rippling through the fabric of space-time, waves that eventually wash over Earth as faint whispers. We are listening to the sounds of a distant war, a war of gravity where the casualties are entire solar systems. The Great Attractor is not a quiet graveyard. It is a chaotic metropolis of destruction. There is a specific horror in the cluster. The Norma cluster, at the heart of the attractor, is a dense swarm. In our local neighborhood, galaxies are millions of light-years apart. In a cluster like Norma, they are packed tight. The night sky on a planet inside the Great Attractor would be blindingly bright, filled not with pinprick stars, but with the glowing swirls of other galaxies, looming large like moons. It would be a sky of constant surveillance, where the neighbors are always watching, always close enough to strip away your atmosphere with a gravitational pass. We are lucky to be in the boondocks of Laniakea. Isolation is lonely, but isolation is safe. The city center of the Great Attractor is a place where stability goes to die. We must also consider the Great Repeller again, the dipole repeller. It was only identified with certainty in 2017. Think about that. We have been staring at the sky for thousands of years, and only in the last decade did we realize that half the sky is pushing us. This void is not just empty, it is effectively a hole in the universe's mass distribution. It acts like a bubble, expanding and pushing the liquid of the cosmos aside. We are surfing on the edge of this bubble. The discovery of the repeller solved the vector math that the Great Attractor couldn't solve alone. It proved that in gravity, absence of matter is just as powerful a force as the presence of it. The nothingness is weaponized. So what happens when we arrive? If humanity manages to survive for billions of years, an unlikely gamble, we will eventually merge with the Great Attractor. The Milky Way and Andromeda will have long since merged into Milkomeda. This new supergalaxy will fall into the cluster. We will be stripped of our gas, our star formation will cease, and we will become a red and dead elliptical galaxy orbiting the center of the cluster in a chaotic swarm. We will join the graveyard. The forbidden object is strictly forbidden because it is the end of the line. It is the entropy of the universe made manifest in a single location. It is the place where the arrow of time points to a full stop. But until then, we watch. We measure. We use the motion of the Earth to map the motion of the Sun, and the motion of the Sun to map the galaxy, and the motion of the galaxy to map the universe. It is a ladder of inference, climbing out of the dark. The Great Attractor remains the single greatest anomaly in our local volume. It mocks our models. It challenges our understanding of dark matter. It hides behind the dust. It is the perfect antagonist for the story of human cosmology. It is real, it is massive, and it is waiting. The numbers don't lie, and the numbers say we are falling. The investigation into the Great Attractor is far from over. Future missions, like the Euclid Telescope and the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, are designed to peer deeper into the infrared, slicing through the dust of the zone of avoidance like a scalpel. We are preparing to strip the mask off the monster. What we find might confirm our theories, or it might reveal something even stranger. Some cosmologists fear that we might find evidence of cosmic strings, cracks in the universe, or even signs that gravity behaves differently on these massive scales. The forbidden object is the final frontier of our local physics. We are knocking on the door, and soon, something is going to answer. Why do we call it forbidden? Because in science, a forbidden transition is one that shouldn't happen under standard rules, yet sometimes does. The Great Attractor represents a forbidden accumulation of mass. It represents a forbidden velocity. It represents a forbidden alignment of our galaxy to hide it. It is the universe breaking its own rules to create a trap. Every time we look at it, we are reminded that our laws of physics are merely suggestions that the cosmos can overrule with sufficient mass. It is a humbling, terrifying monument to the chaotic truth of reality. We do not make the rules. We only suffer the consequences. Let's pivot to the scale of the Shapley supercluster again, the titan behind the curtain. It is approximately 650 million light-years away. To simply look at it is to look 650 million years into the past. We are seeing it as it was when complex life was just beginning to explode in Earth's oceans. We have no idea what it looks like now. For all we know, it has merged with other structures, grown larger, or collapsed further. The speed of light is a prison that keeps us from knowing the current state of our executioner. We are studying a fossil of the thing that is killing us. The delay of information is the ultimate fog of war in this cosmic battle. The Shapley supercluster contains the mass of 10,000 Milky Ways. 10,000. Try to visualize one galaxy, 100 billion stars. Now multiply that by 10,000. That is the hammer swinging down on the anvil of our position. The gravitational waves from that much mass create a well so deep that light itself struggles to climb out of it. The time dilation near such a structure would be measurable. If you were close to it, time would tick differently than it does here in the suburbs. The Great Attractor and Shapley are not just warping space, they are warping time, creating a bubble of distorted reality that we are sliding into. Is there any escape? In theory, the expansion of the universe, the dark energy, should eventually win. It is the one force that pushes back against gravity. If dark energy is strong enough, it might eventually rip the flow apart, separating us from the Great Attractor before we can fall in. This scenario, the Big Rip, or simply the heat-death isolation, offers a grim alternative. Either we are crushed in the fiery mosh pit of the attractor, or we are frozen in the infinite loneliness of expansion. The universe offers us two deaths, fire or ice. The Great Attractor is the fire. Dark energy is the ice. Currently, the fire is winning the local war, but the ice will win the war of eternity. The dipole nature of our motion, falling toward the attractor, fleeing the repeller, creates a streamline in the cosmos. We are essentially particles in a wind tunnel. This streamline allows us to map the cosmography of the universe. We can draw lines of flow, creating a weather map of the universe. And on this map, the storm is always raging in the direction of Centaurus. This map is the only thing that allows us to make sense of the chaos. Without the Great Attractor as a landmark, we would be lost in a uniform sea. It provides orientation, even if that orientation is towards our doom. It is the North Star of our destruction. The zone of avoidance has also hidden other galaxies, like Dwingaloo 1 and Dwingaloo 2, discovered in the 90s. These are large galaxies, neighbors we never knew we had, hiding behind the fence. Discovering them was a shock. It was like finding out you have a roommate living in your attic that you never saw. If galaxies can hide effectively in the ZOA, what else is there? Could there be exotic objects? Primordial black holes? Remnants of cosmic collisions? The ZOA is the ultimate hiding spot in the universe, and the Great Attractor is the king of that dark castle. The narrative of the Great Attractor is also a narrative of human hubris. We built telescopes to see the edge of the universe, the beginning of time, the Big Bang. We looked out billions of light years, patting ourselves on the back for our vision. Meanwhile, we missed the mountain standing right in front of our face because our own dust got in the eye. It took until the late 20th century to realize we were moving. It is a reminder that the hardest things to see are often the ones closest to you. The Great Attractor is the ultimate elephant in the room, or rather, the elephant in the galaxy. Let's look at the Vela supercluster hypothesis again. This structure, if it exists as predicted, would be even larger than Shapley. It is located further along the line of sight, deeper into the ZOA. Some calculations suggest Vela carries the mass of thousands of clusters. If Vela is confirmed, it demotes the Great Attractor to a mere foothill leading up to the mountain range of Vela. We might be caught in a cascade of gravity wells, each falling into the next. We fall into the attractor falls into Shapley falls into Vela. It is a Russian nesting doll of gravitational monsters, and we are the tiniest doll in the center. The density of the Great Attractor region poses another question. Is life more or less likely there? In the chaotic, radiation-filled environment of a supercluster core, habitability might be impossible. Frequent supernovae would sterilize planets. Gamma-ray bursts would strip atmospheres. The habitable zone of the universe might be the boring suburbs where we live. The Great Attractor might be a dead zone, a place where matter congregates but life cannot survive. We are being pulled from the fertile lands of the spiral arms into the sterile desert of the cluster core. The forbidden object might be forbidden for a biological reason. It is incompatible with life. The term cosmic flow is beautiful but terrifying. Flows imply fluid dynamics. The universe acts like a fluid. Dark matter is the water. Galaxies are the silt suspended in it. We can model the universe using the same equations we use to model rushing water. This means we can predict turbulence, eddies, and whirlpools. The Great Attractor is a whirlpool. We are circling the drain. The physics of the very small fluids and the very large cosmology rhyme in a way that suggests a fundamental unity to nature, a unity that is indifferent to our survival. We are just particles in the stream. There is also the core theory. Some speculate that the Great Attractor contains a singularity of unprecedented size, not just a supermassive black hole, but an ultramassive black hole, billions of times the mass of the Sun. While current observations favor a cluster of galaxies, the central density is still unresolved. If a black hole of that magnitude exists, it would be the dark heart of the Laniakea supercluster, the anchor that holds millions of galaxies in check. It would be the closest thing to a God particle that gravity can create, an object of absolute authority. The sheer complexity of the motion requires supercomputers to model. The cosmic web is the structure of the universe, filaments and voids. The Great Attractor sits at a nexus, a highway interchange of the cosmic web. Filaments feed matter into it from all directions. We are traveling along one of these filaments. We are on the highway. We can see the traffic moving with us. The structure of the universe is not random, it is a network, and networks have hubs. We are being routed to the hub. The forbidden object is simply the central server of our local reality. Paradoxically, the Great Attractor is losing its grip on the distant universe. As dark energy accelerates, the horizon of the attractor shrinks. It can only pull things that are close enough. Eventually, the universe will break apart into isolated islands. The Great Attractor will gather its local flock, including us, and the rest of the universe will vanish from view. We will be locked in a permanent embrace with this monster, while the other monsters recede into the black. It is a race between gravity gathering us together and expansion tearing us apart. For us, gravity has won. We are the chosen sacrifice. When we map the redshift of the galaxies in the Norma cluster, we see a dispersion that indicates chaos. They are moving at thousands of kilometers per second relative to each other, buzzing like angry bees. This internal velocity is what keeps the cluster from collapsing instantly into a black hole. It is a dynamic equilibrium of fury. The kinetic energy in that region is astronomical. To enter that region is to enter a storm of galaxy-sized proportions. We are slowly drifting from the calm waters into the hurricane. The dipole repeller pushes, the Great Attractor pulls. This axis defines our existence. It is the north and south of our local universe. But what if there are other attractors? We have found hints of the Sloan Great Wall, the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. These are structures billions of light years away. They dwarf the Great Attractor. We are small fish in a small pond, terrified of a local predator, unaware that there are leviathans in the ocean beyond. The Great Attractor is just the monster we can feel. The others are the monsters we can barely comprehend. The mystery of the Great Attractor is a testament to the power of the unseen. In a universe defined by light, it is the dark things that control us. Dark matter, dark energy, dark flow, the zone of avoidance. We are creatures of light, clinging to stars, afraid of the dark. Yet the dark is 95% of the universe. The Great Attractor is the ambassador of the dark. It is the physical manifestation of the fact that we are the minority. The universe is not made for us. It is made for the void and the gravity that spans it. As we conclude this phase of the investigation, the facts stand stark and terrifying. 1. We are moving at 600 kilometers per second. 2. We are moving towards a region hidden by our own galaxy. 3. That region contains mass that defies the standard model. 4. We are being pushed by a void. 5. We will never escape. The Great Attractor is not a myth. It is the inevitable conclusion of our galactic history. The investigative journalist puts down the pen. Because the story isn't about solving the crime, it's about accepting the sentence. The universe has spoken, and it said, "Come here." But the story doesn't end with the attractor. It ends with what the attractor represents, the limits of human knowledge. We call it the Great Attractor because we don't have a better name. It is a placeholder for ignorance. It is a label on a box we cannot open. The terror comes not just from the physical danger, but from the intellectual abyss. We are advanced primates on a rock, trying to understand a machine that spans billions of light years. The Great Attractor is a glitch in our matrix, a reminder that we are not the architects of this reality. As we look up at the night sky, at the band of the Milky Way, remember that the beauty you see is a blindfold. The dust lanes that make the galaxy look majestic are the very bars of our cage. Behind them lies the master of our motion. The next time you feel the ground beneath your feet, remember that the earth is not still. It is falling. You are falling. We are all falling together into the dark, drawn by the forbidden object that waits in the zone of avoidance. The silence of the stars is not peace. It is the holding of breath before the plunge. The Great Attractor challenges the Copernican principle in a new way. Copernicus showed us we aren't the center. The attractor shows us we aren't even stable. We are transient. We are passing through. Our location in the universe is temporary. The constellations will change. The galaxies will shift. The sky you know is a fleeting snapshot in a violent movie. We are not residents of the universe. We are tourists, and the tour bus is headed off a cliff. So we continue to drift. The Great Attractor pulls. The dipole repeller pushes. The dark flow carries us. We are adrift in a dark ocean, unable to see the shore, unable to see the waterfall, only able to feel the current getting faster. The forbidden object remains forbidden, hidden behind the veil, a cosmic censor barring us from the ultimate truth. But we know it's there. We can feel it in our bones, in our stars, and in the math that governs our doom. Reality is indeed scarier than fiction, because in fiction, the hero usually sees the monster before the end. In reality, we might never see it at all. Let us return to the raw data of the cosmic microwave background, CMB dipole, because contained within those minute temperature fluctuations is the blueprint of our cosmic eviction. When astrophysicists measure the temperature of the universe, they find that the sky in the direction of the constellation Leo is a fraction of a degree warmer than the sky in the opposite direction, Aquarius. This Doppler shift is the speedometer of our galaxy. It tells us we are moving at 370 miles per second relative to the cosmic rest frame. But here is the terrifying discrepancy that keeps the investigative journalist persona awake at night. The visible mass in the known universe. Every star, every black hole, every gas cloud we have cataloged in the Great Attractor and the Shapley supercluster only accounts for about 2/3 of that speed. We are moving faster than the gravity we can see should allow. There is a missing pull. Roughly 1/3 of the force dragging us to our doom is coming from sources that remain completely unaccounted for in our standard maps. It is as if you are being dragged by a rope, and you can see two people pulling, but the force on the rope suggests a third invisible giant is standing behind them, adding its strength to the haul. The math demands a monster we have not yet met. This missing mass problem forces us to confront the limitations of the observable universe. We define the observable universe as a sphere with a radius of about 46 billion light-years centered on Earth. Anything outside this sphere is causally disconnected from us because light from those regions hasn't had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang. However, gravity might not play by the same rules of visibility that light does in our intuitive understanding of influence. If the universe underwent a period of rapid inflation, expanding faster than light in the first fraction of a second, then the true universe is vastly larger than the observable one. The Great Attractor might be the anchor point for a gravitational chain that extends past the horizon. We might be feeling the tug of a superstructure located in a region of space that we can literally never see. We are being influenced by ghosts from beyond the edge of reality. It is a chilling thought. The force determining our future originates from a place that effectively doesn't exist for us physically, yet its hand is on our shoulder, pushing us into the dark. To try and solve this, a team led by Alexander Kashlinsky at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center proposed a theory that terrified the conservative scientific community: dark flow. They analyzed the motion of hundreds of galaxy clusters and found a coherent flow that didn't just point toward the Great Attractor, but extended far beyond it, toward a patch of sky between Centaurus and Vela. This flow seemed to involve clusters of galaxies billions of light-years apart, all moving in the same direction, like driftwood caught in a massive river. If dark flow is real, it violates the cosmological principle entirely. It suggests that the structure of space-time is not uniform but is tilted or flowing due to the influence of something outside our observable universe entirely. Imagine the universe as a bathtub, and someone pulled the plug in a multiverse next door. We are seeing the water, our galaxies, swirling toward a drain that leads to a different bubble of reality. While the theory is controversial and debated, the data remains a stubborn anomaly. The Great Attractor might just be the local whirlpool in a current that spans the entire multiverse. Let's analyze the zone of avoidance with a more critical eye. We speak of it as a nuisance, a dusty window, but the physical reality of it is immense. It is a band of obscuration that spans 10 to 20 degrees of the sky. This isn't just a little dust, it is a galactic barrier. The center of our Milky Way is a chaos of star density, molecular clouds, and the supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A. The sheer noise of our own galaxy, the radiostatic, the infrared heat, the blinding starlight, acts as a jammer. We are trying to listen to a whisper from the other side of a room while a heavy metal concert is playing right next to our ear. The irony is palpable. The reason we exist, the rich, heavy elements of the Milky Way that form planets and life, is the exact reason we are blind to the danger approaching us. The cradle of life is also the blindfold of the observer. We are safe because we are hidden, but we are ignorant because we are hidden. The Great Attractor exploits this geometry perfectly, approaching us from the one angle we cannot guard. The investigation into the Great Attractor also reveals the terrifying hierarchy of cosmic structures. We live in the Milky Way. The Milky Way lives in the local group, dominated by us and Andromeda. The local group lives in the Virgo supercluster. But the Virgo supercluster is just an appendage, a small limb of the Laniakea supercluster. And Laniakea is falling toward the Shapley supercluster. It is a Russian nesting doll of gravity. But here is the existential twist. These structures are not static buildings, they are dynamic flows. A supercluster, in this new definition, is not a thing. It is a basin of attraction. It is defined by where the stuff inside it ends up. If you are a galaxy inside the Laniakea boundary, you will end up at the Great Attractor. If you are just 1 inch outside that boundary, you will flow to a different attractor, perhaps the Perseus-Pisces supercluster. We are defined by our drain. We are citizens of the Great Attractor because that is where our corpse will eventually lie. Our cosmic nationality is determined by our inevitable destruction. Let's talk about the turnaround radius. In cosmology, this is the boundary around a massive structure where gravity officially defeats the expansion of the universe. Inside this radius, things collapse inward. Outside this radius, things expand outward forever. For the Great Attractor, this radius is massive, engulfing millions of light-years of space. We are currently in a transition zone. The universe is expanding, trying to pull us away, but the attractor is pulling us in. The scary math suggests that for the local group, the die is cast. We are gravitationally bound to the Virgo cluster, which in turn is being hauled toward the attractor. While dark energy is accelerating the expansion of the distinct universe, tearing distant galaxies away from our view, the local grip of the attractor is tightening. We are locked in the cage. The door has been shut. We might see the rest of the universe flee into the darkness, but we are stuck in the room with the monster. The end-of-the-world scenarios usually depict a lonely freeze, but for us, the future is crowded, hot, and violent. Consider the velocity vector again, 600 kilometers per second. This is a peculiar velocity. In a perfect, expanding universe, our peculiar velocity should be 0. We should just be riding the expansion like a dot on a balloon. The fact that we have this massive speed means the universe is lumpy, broken, and unbalanced. If the universe were perfectly created, the Great Attractor wouldn't exist. Its existence proves that the Big Bang was messy. It proves that imperfection is the seed of structure. But this imperfection has grown into a trap. As we accelerate, the Doppler shift of the galaxies ahead of us turns bluer. The radiation coming from them gets more energetic. We are moving into a blue-shifted future. If we could travel fast enough, The light from the Great Attractor would eventually shift into hard X-rays and gamma rays, frying us simply by looking at it. We are shielded by the slowness of our travel. But the destination is a place of high energy concentration that contradicts the cold, empty void we are used to. What happens when galaxies collide in the center of the attractor? It is not a physical crash of stars hitting stars. Space is too empty for that. Instead, the gas clouds, huge nebula light years across, slam into each other at millions of miles per hour. This creates shock waves of compression. Gravity collapses these clouds instantly, triggering a starburst. Thousands of new stars ignite simultaneously. It sounds beautiful, like a fireworks show, but the radiation output is catastrophic. A starburst galaxy emits massive amounts of UV and X-ray radiation. The core of the Great Attractor is likely a blindingly bright, sterilizing environment. If there were civilizations in those galaxies, they are currently being bathed in the lethal ultraviolet glow of a million newborn suns. The Great Attractor is a factory of stars, but it is built on the graveyard of stability. To create the new, it violently disrupts the old. We are heading toward a construction zone where the safety regulations of a quiet spiral galaxy do not apply. There is a theory called vacuum decay, which suggests that the universe is in a false vacuum, a state that is stable for now but not the lowest possible energy state. If a bubble of true vacuum were to form, it would expand at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics and deleting everything in its path. While not directly linked to the Great Attractor, the extreme energy densities and gravitational singularities potential in such massive clusters are exactly the kinds of extreme environments where physicists worry the fabric of space could be tested to its breaking point. If the Great Attractor contains exotic matter or extreme gravitational wells, it could be a nucleation point for cosmic instability. We worry about asteroids or nuclear war, but the universe holds guns to our head that we can't even see. The Great Attractor is a loaded weapon, and gravity is the finger on the trigger. We are moving towards the barrel. Let's deepen the mystery of the dipole repeller. For years we thought the Great Attractor was pulling us, but the new data from 2017 suggests the repeller is just as important. The repeller is a void so empty that it acts as a pusher. But how does nothing push? It pushes because gravity is a game of differentials. The repeller has less gravity than the average universe, so the stuff around it is pulled away by the surrounding matter louder than the repeller pulls it back. It creates a relative repulsion. We are fleeing a ghost. The repeller is a region of space that has been emptied out, a cosmic vacuum cleaner that has finished its job. The fact that our galaxy sits precisely between a massive void and a massive cluster feels suspiciously like a conveyor belt. We are being processed. The architecture of the local universe is designed to move matter from point A to point B with ruthless efficiency. We are just a package on the belt. The Shapley supercluster, the monster behind the attractor, is a gravitationally bound structure. This means it has won the battle against dark energy. It will not be torn apart. It will collapse into a single object. Give it enough time, trillions of years, and the entire Shapley region, including the Great Attractor and eventually us, will merge into one single, hypermassive galaxy. This island universe scenario is the ultimate fate of our matter. Imagine a galaxy so large it contains the mass of 10,000 Milky Ways. The central black hole of such a beast would be incomprehensible, an event horizon larger than our entire solar system. This is the omega point of our local history. We are ingredients in a recipe for a supergalaxy that will exist alone in the dark, long after the rest of the universe has redshifted into oblivion. We are building a fortress for the end of time. The investigative journalist must ask, why did it take us so long to find the dipole repeller? Because voids are hard to map. You can't see nothing. You can only see the absence of something if you know something should be there. We had to map the motion of thousands of galaxies to realize they were all streaming away from a specific empty spot. This reinforces the idea that our maps of the universe are biased by light. We only map the streetlights. We ignore the dark streets. But the dark streets are where the traffic is flowing. The discovery of the repeller and the attractor highlights that our visible universe is just the foam on top of a dark ocean. The currents of dark matter and the pressure of dark energy are the real movers. The stars are just tracer bullets showing us where the war is being fought. And right now, the war is being won by the attractor. We must also consider the Great Wall structures. The Sloan Great Wall. the Boss Great Wall, the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. These are filaments of galaxies, billions of light-years long. They are the largest things in existence. The Great Attractor is likely a node, intersection point, of the Centaurus Wall. If you view the universe as a biological brain, which the simulation comparisons often do, the galaxies are neurons and the filaments are axons. The Great Attractor is a massive synapse. We are an electrical impulse traveling down a nerve. We are information being transmitted to a central processing center. This biological analogy is disturbing because it implies function. Is the universe thinking? Is the flow of matter towards these nodes serving a purpose in the grand metabolism of the cosmos? Or is it just dead mechanics simulating life? The flow looks purposeful, and that is what makes it terrifying. Let's revisit the specific speed, 630 kilometers per second. That is the combined speed of our motion towards the attractor and the attractor's motion towards Shapley. It is a bulk flow. Bulk flow is a controversial term in astrophysics because the standard model assumes random motion should cancel out on large scales. If you take a large enough box of the universe, the average velocity should be zero. But the box we are in, spanning billions of light years, has a non-zero velocity. It is moving en masse. This challenges the lambda CDM model, the standard model of the Big Bang. It suggests that on the largest scales, the universe is not homogeneous. It is tilted. It has a preferred direction. If the universe has a preferred direction, it implies a center, or an edge, or a source. It breaks the democratic principle of the cosmos where every place is equal. In our universe, some places are more equal than others, and the Great Attractor is the king. The timeline of our arrival is roughly tens of billions of years. To a human, this is never. To the universe, it is tomorrow. But the effects are happening now. The tidal forces from the Great Attractor are subtly shaping the evolution of the local group. The dwarf galaxies around the Milky Way are feeling the pull. The shape of our galaxy's halo is being distorted. We are being pre-stretched before the rack. The subtle warping of our local space is the precursor to the final journey. We are not static observers. We are currently under the influence. The gravity of the attractor is passing through your body right now. It is weak, imperceptible, but it is there. You are personally connected to the Great Attractor by an invisible thread of gravity that can never be cut. It has you. It has always had you. Some astronomers have tried to look for counter-attractors in other directions to balance the equation. They found the Perseus-Pisces supercluster on the other side of the sky, but it isn't massive enough to stop our fall. The balance of power in our local universe is heavily skewed. There is no equilibrium here. There is only a landslide. The concept of a balanced universe is a human invention, a desire for symmetry. The real universe is messy, lopsided, and violent. The Great Attractor is the ultimate proof of this asymmetry. It is the heavy weight on one side of the scale that has tipped the entire room. We are sliding down the floorboards because the foundation of our local reality is broken. Let's speculate on what lies at the exact center of the Norma cluster, the heart of the attractor. It is a region called the cluster core. Here, the density of galaxies is so high that the intergalactic medium is heated to millions of degrees, glowing with X-rays. This hot gas is the atmosphere of the Great Attractor. It is a toxic, superheated fog that permeates the space between the stars. Any galaxy entering this core is stripped of its own cold gas, the fuel for star formation, by a process called ram pressure stripping. It is a cosmic sterilization. As the Milky Way eventually approaches this core, our galaxy will be quenched. The beautiful spiral arms will be ripped away, the gas will be boiled off, and we will be left as a naked skeleton of old red stars. The Great Attractor doesn't just eat galaxies. It butchers them first. The investigative journalist must also address the Vela supercluster theory again, because the implications are staggering. If Vela is as massive as suspected, hiding deeper in the zone of avoidance, it implies that the Great Attractor is merely a moon orbiting a planet, and the planet is orbiting a sun. We are falling into a system of gravity wells. The scale of Vela suggests it could be one of the dense cores of the cosmic web itself. If we are falling into Vela, we are falling into the backbone of the universe. The scary part is that we didn't know Vela existed until 2016. We are still finding the monsters in our own basement. What will we find in 2030? In 2050? The trend suggests we will find something even bigger, even scarier, and even closer to home. The map is not finished. The monsters are still being drawn. There is an existential dread in the concept of the Great Attractor because it represents a final cause. In philosophy, a final cause is the end goal, the purpose. The Great Attractor seems to be the purpose of our movement. Why was the Milky Way created? To feed the attractor. Why was the solar system formed? To be carried to the attractor. From the perspective of deep time, our entire existence is just a delivery mechanism for matter to reach that density. We are a cargo cult. We are carrying the precious heavy elements, the gold in your ring, the calcium in your bones, to deposit them into the bank of the Great Attractor. We are not the protagonists of the story. We are the supply convoy. The data from the X-ray satellite clusters reveals that the attractor is not a single point, but a wall. The Great Attractor Wall. A wall in space is a terrifying concept. It is a sheet of galaxies. Imagine a wall made of light and gravity that stretches for hundreds of millions of light years. We are flying towards this wall. It is not a soft landing. It is a region where the gravitational potential energy is converted into heat. The virial temperature of such a structure is billions of degrees. We are flying into a furnace. The beauty of the night sky hides the violence of the thermal history of the universe. The end of the road is fire. Let's switch gears to the Frontier Explorer perspective. What if we could send a probe? A probe traveling at light speed would take hundreds of millions of years to reach the attractor. It would pass through the voids, through the filaments, and enter the chaotic region of the Norma cluster. The signal it would send back would take another few hundred million years. We can never explore it. It is physically impossible to know it in real time. It is forever separated from us by the speed limit of the universe. This separation is a form of cosmic censorship. The universe allows us to see the danger, but forbids us from touching it or understanding it before it is too late. The Great Attractor is the ultimate look but don't touch exhibit in the Museum of Existence. But what if the dark flow is evidence of a multiverse collision? Some theoretical physicists, like Laura Mersini-Houghton, suggest that the pull we feel is the result of our universe bumping into another universe. The Great Attractor would be the bruise left by this collision, a region where gravity leaked in from a neighboring bubble. If this is true, the Great Attractor is a portal, or at least a scar, connecting us to a reality with different laws of physics. We are sliding towards the impact site. The horror here is not just gravity, but the intrusion of the other. We are not alone in the multiverse, and the neighbors are crowding our fence, pushing against the fabric of our sky. The movement of the local group is calculated relative to the cosmic microwave background, CMB. The CMB is the rest frame of the universe. By measuring our speed against this ancient light, we know exactly how fast we are going. There is no ambiguity. The error bars are small. We are definitely moving. The denial of this motion is impossible. The only debate is, what is pulling us? Is it dark matter? Is it a modification of gravity, MOND? Is it a multiverse tug? The what is up for debate, but the movement is a hard fact. We are on a train. We don't know who is driving or where the station is, but we can feel the rumble of the tracks and see the scenery flying by. And the train is accelerating. Let's consider the cold spot. The CMB cold spot is another anomaly, a region of the sky that is impossibly cold. It is often linked to the Eridanus supervoid. This is the opposite of the attractor. It is a region of impossible emptiness. The universe has these extremes: the Great Attractor, impossible density, and the cold spot, impossible emptiness. They are the yin and yang of cosmic horror. We exist in the middle in the Goldilocks zone of density, but we are being torn between these two extremes. The universe is polarized. We are caught in the tension between the void and the crunch. Our existence depends on this fragile balance, a balance that is slowly tipping towards the attractor. The zone of avoidance also blocks our view of the Great Attractor's backward influence. Does the attractor pull things from the other side? Presumably yes. There are galaxies on the far side of the attractor falling in too. We are just one part of a sphere of victims collapsing inward. If we could see the other side, we would see a mirror image of ourselves, other civilizations, other galaxies, all streaming towards the same central doom. We are not unique. We are just the traffic coming from the north. There is traffic coming from the south, east, and west. It is a global convergence. The Great Attractor is the Rome of the local universe. All roads lead to it. The density of the Great Attractor is such that it bends light significantly. Gravitational lensing. If we could see it clearly, the background galaxies would be smeared into arcs and rings. It creates a quote-quote mirror effect in the sky. This lensing allows us to weigh it. The mass is calculated by how much it distorts the image of the universe behind it. We are weighing the invisible man by seeing how much the mattress depresses when he sits down. And the mattress is sinking deep. The amount of distortion tells us that there are quadrillions of solar masses hidden there. The scale is sickening. It reduces human history to a rounding error in a gravitational equation. The investigative journalist notes that the name Great Attractor was coined in a moment of desperation. It was a placeholder name that stuck. It sounds like a B-movie villain, but it reflects the genuine bafflement of the scientific community in the 70s and 80s. We found something great, and it attracts. That was the level of our understanding. Decades later, we have refined the details, Shapley, Norma, Vela, but the core mystery remains. Why is the mass there? Why is it so concentrated? The name has become a symbol of the unknown. It is the "Here Be Dragons" on the map of modern cosmology. Let's focus on the dark matter halos. Every galaxy lives in a halo of dark matter. The Great Attractor is a megahalo. It is a knot in the dark matter web. Simulation theories suggest that these knots are where the code of the universe is densest. If the universe is a simulation, the Great Attractor is a processing core, a place where the calculations are most intense. We are being drawn into the CPU. This is a metaphysical horror, but one that resonates with the mathematical precision of the pull. The flow follows the lines of the dark matter web exactly. We are data packets traveling along a fiber optic cable made of gravity. The dipole repeller and the Great Attractor together form a structure called a dipole field. This looks exactly like a magnetic field, with field lines running from the repeller to the attractor. We are moving along a field line. This suggests that gravity, on large scales, behaves with a flow dynamic similar to electromagnetism. It unifies the forces in a visual way. We are iron filings aligning with the magnet. The free will of a galaxy is an illusion. We are ordered by the field. The seemingly chaotic scatter of stars in the night sky is actually a highly ordered army, marching in lockstep towards the front line. The Shapley supercluster is so massive that it pulls the Great Attractor itself. The hunter becomes the hunted. The attractor is dragging us, but Shapley is dragging the attractor. It is a food chain. We are the krill, the attractor is the whale, and Shapley is the ocean current. There is always a bigger fish. This hierarchy of scale makes us feel infinitesimally small. If the Great Attractor is a monster to us, what is it to Shapley? A snack. A minor perturbation. The scale of the universe is a ladder of humiliation for humanity. We have mapped 8,000 galaxies in the Shapley supercluster, 8,000 cities of stars. And that is just the bright ones. The faint dwarf galaxies could number in the millions. The population of that region is staggering. If life is common, there are trillions of civilizations in that supercluster. And they are all bound together. Destined to merge, it is a crowded, cosmopolitan nightmare. A galaxy merger is a slow dance of destruction, flinging stars into the void or dropping them into black holes. The Shapley supercluster is a mosh pit of galactic mergers. It is the most violent place in the local universe, and we are buying a ticket to the show. The zone of avoidance is slowly being conquered by radio astronomy. Radio waves pass through dust. We are listening to the radio stations of the hidden galaxies. What we hear is the 21-centimeter line of neutral hydrogen. It is the song of interstellar gas. By mapping this song, we are building a 3D model of the hidden wall. The model shows a continuous structure connecting the Great Attractor to the Shapley supercluster. It is a bridge. We are not just falling into a hole. we are sliding along a bridge. The Great Attractor might just be the on-ramp to the superhighway of the Shapley concentration. The existential philosopher asks, does it matter? If it takes billions of years, why care? We care because it defines our place in the story. We are not static, we are not safe. We are part of a dynamic, violent system. Knowing about the Great Attractor changes the way we look at the sky. It adds a vector of doom to the beauty of the stars. It transforms the universe from a painting into a movie, a disaster movie. We are in the first act, where the scientists notice the anomaly on the screen. The climax is billions of years away, but the script is already written. The Great Attractor also influences the Hubble flow. The expansion of the universe is usually described by the Hubble constant. But in our direction, the constant is broken. The local expansion is retarded by the pull. Gravity is fighting the Big Bang here and winning. In most of the universe, the Big Bang is winning. We live in a resistance pocket, a stronghold of gravity. This makes our region special, but also doomed. By resisting expansion, we ensure our eventual collapse. The regions that surrender to expansion will grow lonely and cold. We will grow hot and crowded. Pick your poison: isolation or suffocation. The cluster is not just galaxies, it is dark matter. 85% of the mass is invisible. The Great Attractor is primarily a dark matter object. The galaxies are just the sprinkles on the dark matter donut. We are being pulled by an invisible hand. We can see the sprinkles moving, but we can't see the donut. This invisibility is the core of the horror. We are fighting a phantom. We are being manipulated by a shadow. The universe is governed by a substance we cannot see, touch, or understand, and that substance has decided we belong in the zone of avoidance. Let's visualize the flow lines again. They look like hair in a drain, streamlines converging on a point. The point is not a single dot, but a region, the basin of attraction. Laniakea is our basin. We are sliding down the porcelain. The rim of the basin is the limit of the influence. Beyond the rim, things flow elsewhere. We are well inside the rim. There is no climbing out. Escape velocity from the Great Attractor at this distance is impossible. We are captured. The event has already happened. We are just waiting for the consequences to arrive. The dipole repeller is a relatively new addition to the map, 2017. It shows how young our science is. We are still drawing the first accurate maps of our home. Imagine living in a house for 1,000,000 years and only realizing today that the floor is tilted. That is humanity. We are waking up to the tilt. The realization is disorienting. It induces a, quote, cosmic vertigo. The stable ground of Earth is spinning, orbiting, and falling at 600 kilometers per second. There is no still point in the universe. Everything is in freefall. The Great Attractor is a gravitational anomaly. Anomaly means it doesn't fit the pattern. It is a glitch. But in nature, anomalies are usually the keys to deeper understanding. By studying the Great Attractor, we might learn about the nature of gravity itself. Does gravity work the same on scales of 1,000,000,000 light years? Maybe not. Maybe the dark flow is evidence that general relativity breaks down at the cosmic horizon. The attractor is a laboratory for the impossible. We are the test subjects in the lab, waiting for the experiment to conclude. The 7 samurai who discovered the flow were brave. They challenged the orthodoxy. They said the universe is not uniform. They were right. The universe is textured. It has mountains and valleys. The Great Attractor is the deepest valley we know. Standing on Earth, we are rolling down the hill. We can't feel the acceleration because we are in freefall, but the speed is building. The kinetic energy of our galaxy is increasing. We are a kinetic missile aimed at the heart of the Laniakea supercluster. The zone of avoidance is a perfect metaphor for human psychology. We avoid the things that scare us. We avoid the death that awaits us. We avoid the dark, but the universe forces us to look. The Great Attractor is the shadow archetype of the cosmos. It is the repressed truth returning to haunt the conscious mind. We built our myths on the stars we could see, but our fate is determined by the stars we cannot see. The unseen drives the seen. The subconscious drives the conscious. The Great Attractor drives the Milky Way. The immense distance, 150 to 250 million light-years to the Great Attractor is a buffer. It protects us from the radiation, from the mergers, from the chaos. For now. But it does not protect us from the gravity. Gravity has infinite range. It weakens with distance, but never reaches zero. The attractor touches every atom in your body. It is pulling on your DNA. It is pulling on the tectonic plates of the Earth. It is a subtle, pervasive influence that connects you to the monster. You are not separate from the Great Attractor. You are part of its gravitational system. You are a citizen of the attractor state. The Norma cluster is the dense core. It is a traffic jam of galaxies. If you could stand on a planet there, the night would be bright as twilight. The sky would be filled with the glowing fuzz of 1,000 nearby galaxies. It would be beautiful, but deadly. The radiation background would be intense. The stability of planetary orbits would be threatened by passing stars. It is a chaotic, frenetic environment. Life there would be hard-pressed to survive the constant cosmic bombardment. We are lucky to be out here in the quiet fields, far from the city center, but we are moving to the city. The Shapley concentration is a beast of a different order. It is a superstructure. It bridges the gap between astronomy and topology. It is a knot in the fabric of space. The mass is so high that it significantly slows down time relative to the voids. Time ticks slower near Shapley. It is a, quote, time sink, as well as a mass sink. As we fall towards it, we are falling into a region where time drags. The closer we get to the end, the slower the clock ticks. A Zeno's paradox of doom. The investigative journalist asks, is it a black hole? The answer is no, but it contains thousands of black holes. And the central galaxy of the Norma cluster likely hosts an ultramassive one. But the structure itself acts like a distributed black hole. It is a, quote, gravitational trap. Light can escape, but matter cannot. Once you fall into the basin of attraction, you are bound. You can never leave Laniakea. We are in a prison cell made of gravity, and the Great Attractor is the warden. The dark flow controversy remains the most unsettling aspect. If the flow is real, and we are moving towards something outside the observable universe, then the universe is not a closed system. It is leaking, or it is being acted upon by an external force. This hints at the multiverse or bubble universe theory. We are bumping into another bubble. The Great Attractor is the pressure point, the bruise, the place where the walls of reality are thin. We are rushing towards the breach. The sheer scale of the Great Attractor makes it the most forbidden object. It is forbidden because it violates the cosmological principle. It is forbidden because it hides in the zone of avoidance. It is forbidden because it suggests dark flow. It breaks all the rules we set up for a polite, orderly universe. It is the rebel of the cosmos. And it is winning. The rebel is taking over the local government of galaxies. The order of the Standard Model is crumbling in the face of this raw, chaotic mass. The visualization of the universe as a cosmic web is key. The filaments are the threads. The clusters are the dewdrops on the web. The Great Attractor is a massive drop where many threads meet. We are sliding down a thread. The spider is gravity. The web is dark matter. The prey is us. It is a predator-prey relationship played out on the scale of gigaparsecs. The universe is consuming itself. We are the food. The Great Attractor forces us to confront the end, not the heat death, but the big crunch on a local scale. Local collapse. Our future is fire. Colliding galaxies. Merging black holes. Superheated gas. It is a violent, energetic end. It contradicts the melancholy fade to black of the heat death. For us, the lights go out with a bang, not a whimper. The Great Attractor ensures that our finale will be spectacular if there is anyone left to watch it. The dipole repeller creates a void push. This sounds like sci-fi anti-gravity, but it is just relativity. The absence of mass is a repulsive force in a relative field. This means emptiness is a force. A void is not nothing. It is a generator of motion. The universe hates a vacuum, and it pushes matter away from it. We are being expelled from the void. We are refugees from the nothingness, seeking shelter in the crowd of the attractor. As we move to the next phase of our understanding, we must accept the dark flow. We are flowing. The universe is a fluid. We are drifting. the Great Attractor is the destination. The zone of avoidance is the curtain. The Shapley supercluster is the man behind the curtain. The reality is a stage set for a tragedy of gravity. And we are the actors who just realized the stage is moving. The script is darker than we thought. To truly grasp the horror of our situation, you must understand the concept of a gravitational watershed, a term that defines the geography of the cosmos not by distance but by destiny. Just as a continent on Earth is divided by mountain ranges that dictate which ocean a raindrop will eventually flow into, the universe is divided by invisible gravitational divides. In 2014, when astronomers defined the Laniakea supercluster, they weren't just drawing a line on a map. They were defining the basin of our inevitable destruction. We are that raindrop. The Milky Way sits on the outer slopes of this titanic basin, and for billions of years, we have been trickling inevitably downward. The edge of Laniakea is the point of no return. If we were just a little further out, we might have fallen into the Perseus-Pisces supercluster, a different drain leading to a different hell. But we are here, locked into a trajectory that leads only to the Great Attractor. We are not free agents in an open universe. We are caught in a current that was determined moments after the Big Bang, a current that flows one way, down, into the dark heart of Centaurus. The investigation into the dipole repeller forces us to confront the terrifying power of emptiness. We tend to think of gravity as a force of attraction, a pulling mechanism generated by mass. But in the relative framework of the cosmos, the absence of mass acts as a repulsive generator. The dipole repeller is a void so profound, so utterly devoid of galaxies and dark matter, that it effectively pushes the local group away with a force equal to the pull of the Great Attractor. This creates a push-pull mechanism that accelerates our journey. We are being expelled from the void like a breath held too long and inhaled by the attractor. This reveals a universe where nothing is a weapon. The void is not a passive background. It is an active participant in the violence of cosmic rearrangement. We are running away from the empty dark, only to run straight into the crowded fire. The architecture of our local universe is a machine designed to flush matter out of the voids and into the knots of the cosmic web. Let us look deeper at the Shapley supercluster, the puppet master pulling the strings of the Great Attractor. Located 650 million light-years away, it is the most massive structure within a billion light-years of us. It contains the mass of over 10,000 Milky Way galaxies. Its gravitational influence is so immense that it dominates the motion of everything in our corner of the universe. The Great Attractor, massive as it is merely a localized knot falling toward Shapley. This realization that there is always a bigger monster creates a sense of infinite regression of terror. We are falling into the attractor, which is falling into Shapley. Is Shapley falling into something else? The dark flow data suggests yes. It suggests a cascade of gravity wells, a hierarchy of doom that extends beyond the limits of our vision. We are small fish being eaten by a medium fish, which is being eaten by a shark, in an ocean that has no bottom. The scale of the threat renders human concerns mathematically irrelevant. The zone of avoidance is not merely a scientific blind spot. It is a reminder of our cosmic imprisonment. We are trapped inside a disk of dust and gas that blocks 20% of the universe from our view. It is a cruel irony that the structure that gave birth to us, the Milky Way, is the very thing that blinds us to the danger approaching us. If the Great Attractor were located in the direction of the North Pole, perpendicular to the galactic plane, we would see it as a dazzling, terrifying patch of light in the sky, a swarm of thousands of galaxies. It would be the most prominent feature of our night, a constant reminder of our fate. Instead, it is hidden behind the curtain of the galactic center. The universe has placed the executioner behind a two-way mirror. We cannot see it, but it can certainly feel us. We are walking blindfolded across a highway, and the rumble of the truck is getting louder. The speed of light imposes a terrifying lag on our understanding of the Great Attractor. We are observing it not as it is, but as it was 150 to 250 million years ago. In that time, galaxies within it have merged, stars have exploded, and the central density has increased. The monster has evolved while the news of its evolution is still traveling to us. We are studying a ghost of the past. The real Great Attractor, the one that exists in the universal now, is likely even more compact and dangerous than our data shows. It might have already merged with other structures. It might have developed active galactic nuclei, quasars, that are currently blasting jets of radiation into the intergalactic medium, jets that we won't see for another 100 million years. We are playing a game of chess where we can only see our opponent's moves hours after they have been made. We are reacting to a threat that has already changed shape. Consider the future collision of the Milky Way and Andromeda, an event scheduled for 4.5 billion years from now. We often frame this as the end of our galaxy. But in the context of the Great Attractor, this collision is just a minor merger in the suburbs. The resulting galaxy, Milkomeda, will be a massive elliptical galaxy, but it will still be a slave to the flow. Milkomeda will continue the plunge toward the attractor. Even after we merge and reshape our entire local reality, we will not be free. The new supergalaxy will just be a slightly larger particle accelerating down the drain. The collision with Andromeda is not the finale. It is just us packing our bags before the final journey. We are consolidating our local assets before they are liquidated by the Great Attractor. The scale of time here transforms our most distant apocalyptic prophecies into mere footnotes in the history of the Laniakea supercluster. The environment inside the core of the Great Attractor is hostile to the delicate balance required for life. The density of galaxies means that flybys, where stars pass close enough to disturb planetary orbits, are common. In our quiet suburb, the solar system has remained undisturbed for billions of years, allowing life to evolve. In the attractor, the gravitational chaos would constantly reshuffle the deck. Planets would be stripped from their stars and cast into the freezing dark as rogues. Civilizations would find their skies constantly changing, their climates altering radically as their stars were tugged into new orbits. It is a region of high entropy, a blender of solar systems. As we approach it, the stability that allowed humanity to rise will be eroded. We are moving from a nursery into a war zone, and our planet is not armored for the conflict. Dark matter is the invisible skeleton of the universe, and the Great Attractor is one of its major joints. We can only infer the presence of dark matter by its gravitational effects, yet it makes up 85% of the matter in the universe. The Great Attractor is a localized catastrophe of dark matter. It is a place where the invisible fabric of reality is knotted tight. When we look at the flow of galaxies, we are tracing the shape of this invisible beast. We are like iron filings revealing the shape of a magnet. The horror lies in the fact that the normal matter, the stars, the gas, us, is just the paint on the surface of the dark matter structure. We are decorative. The Great Attractor is the structural reality of the universe asserting its dominance over the visible illusion. We are being pulled by a ghost that weighs a quadrillion suns. The Hubble flow, the expansion of the universe, is the only force that offers salvation from gravity. If the expansion is fast enough, it can overcome the pull. But in the region of the Great Attractor, the Hubble flow has been defeated. The gravity is too strong. The expansion has been reversed locally. This creates a collapsing sphere of influence. We are inside this sphere. While the distant universe accelerates away from us, fading into the red-shifted dark, our local universe is crunching together. This creates a claustrophobic future. The universe is getting bigger, but our universe is getting smaller. We are being isolated with our executioners. The Great Attractor is drawing the curtains around us, shutting out the rest of the cosmos, ensuring that in the far future, the only things we will see are the galaxies that are about to crash into us. The cosmic web analogy is often used to describe the universe, but it is more than a metaphor. It is a physical map of density. The web consists of vast voids, thin filaments, and dense nodes. The Great Attractor is a supernode. It is where multiple filaments of the web intersect. These filaments are highways of gas and galaxies. We are currently traveling along a filament called the local sheet. We are traffic on a cosmic autobahn, speeding towards the central junction. The forbidden object is simply the city center, where all the highways meet. And like any city center, it is congested, hot, and noisy. The flow of matter along these filaments is relentless. The universe is a machine for transporting matter from the voids to the nodes, and we are just cargo in the pipeline. Let us reconsider the cold spot in the cosmic microwave background. This anomaly, a region of inexplicable low temperature, might be the footprint of a supervoid. a region so empty it chills the light passing through it. This supervoid could be the Great Repeller acting in concert with the Great Attractor. The cold spot and the attractor are the two poles of our local existence, the freezer and the furnace. We are suspended between them, but the balance is lost. We are falling towards the furnace. The cold spot reminds us that the universe has regions of absolute desolation, places where entropy has already won. The attractor reminds us that the universe has regions of absolute chaos, where gravity is still fighting. We are the victims of this cosmic war, caught in the crossfire of density and emptiness. The gravitational lensing caused by the Great Attractor is one of the few ways we can measure its true mass. As light from background galaxies passes near the attractor, it is bent by the immense gravity, distorting the images into arcs and rings. This lensing effectively turns the Great Attractor into a giant sloppy telescope lens. By analyzing these distortions, we can weigh the monster. The results are terrifying. The mass is so concentrated that it implies the presence of dark matter halos far larger than anything predicted by standard simulations. It suggests that our understanding of how structure forms in the universe is incomplete. The Great Attractor is not just big, it is impossibly big. It challenges the limits of how much matter can gather in one place within the age of the universe. The distinction between a wall and a filament is crucial here. A filament is a thread. A wall is a sheet. The Great Attractor is associated with the Centaurus wall. Walls are the largest structures known to science. To fly towards a wall of galaxies is to fly towards a horizon that never ends. It stretches across the sky, a barrier of light and gravity. The Centaurus wall is moving, shifting, and growing. As we approach it, it will eventually fill our entire field of view. The sky will no longer be black with points of light. It will be a haze of resolving galaxies, a wall of fire closing in. The sheer scale of a galaxy wall makes the concept of a solar system look like a single atom in a skyscraper. Time dilation is a phenomenon usually associated with black holes, but it applies to any massive object. The gravitational potential of the Great Attractor is so deep that time actually passes slower there relative to the voids. This is the gravitational redshift of time. If you were an observer inside the core of the attractor, looking out at the universe, you would see the external universe aging faster. You would be living in a slow-motion bubble. As we fall into the attractor, we are descending into a time well. We are syncing our temporal existence with the slow grinding clock of the supercluster. This adds a layer of relativistic horror to the journey. We are not just traveling through space, we are traveling through a gradient of time, moving towards a place where the seconds tick by with the weight of 1 billion suns. The psychological impact of the zone of avoidance cannot be overstated. It is the ultimate fear of the unknown manifested in astronomy. For centuries, we mapped the sky, naming every star, every constellation, feeling like masters of our domain. But all the while, a blind spot covered 20% of our kingdom. And in that blind spot, the king was hiding. The Great Attractor mocks our cartography. It tells us that our maps are lies, or at least dangerous simplifications. The things we cannot see are more powerful than the things we can. It validates the primal human fear that the monster is always just out of your peripheral vision, hiding in the dark corner of the room. In this case, the room is the galaxy, and the dark corner is the galactic center. Radio astronomy has been our savior in this investigation. The 21-centimeter spectral line of neutral hydrogen is able to penetrate the dust of the Milky Way. It is a whisper from the deep. By tuning our giant ears to this specific frequency, we have begun to hear the hum of the Great Attractor. We hear the rotation of galaxies we cannot see. We hear the chaotic motion of gas clouds crashing into each other. The data comes in as spectral spikes, graphs, and noise. But to the trained eye, it builds a picture of a crowded, bustling metropolis of matter. We are listening to the traffic noise of a city we are driving towards in the fog. The noise is getting louder. The frequency shifts tell us the speed. 600 kilometers per second. The siren is wailing. The energy released during a galaxy merger within the Great Attractor is incomprehensible. When two supermassive black holes merge at the center of colliding galaxies, they release more energy in a fraction of a second than all the stars in the observable universe combined. These gravitational wave events are the heartbeats of the attractor. We are moving towards a region where space itself is constantly ringing like a struck bell. The violence is not just thermal or radiative, it is structural. The fabric of space-time is being kneaded, stretched, and torn. To exist in the Great Attractor is to exist in a storm of space-time distortions. It is a place where the ground beneath your feet, the very vacuum of space, is not stable. What is the specific fate of our solar system in this scenario? As we fall into the Great Attractor, the Milky Way will likely be tidally disrupted. It will be stretched into a long stream of stars, a process called spaghettification on a galactic scale. Our Sun, if it is still burning, will be torn from its familiar orbit in the spiral arm. We will become a rogue star, drifting alone through the chaotic halo of the supercluster. The night sky will change from a band of milky light to a chaotic swarm of intruder galaxies. We will lose our home address. We will be refugees in the cluster, drifting without a galaxy to protect us, exposed to the raw radiation of the intergalactic medium. We are not just losing our direction, we are destined to lose our home. The voids of the universe are expanding. This is a crucial detail. Voids are not just empty, they are growing bubbles of negative pressure. As the voids expand, they squeeze the matter between them into sheets and filaments. The Great Attractor lies at the intersection of these squeezing forces. We are being pushed by the expansion of the local void and the dipole repeller. We are being crushed into the wall. The universe is a press, and we are the material being compacted. The Great Attractor is the result of this cosmic compactor. It is the trash compactor of the universe, where all the scattered matter is being squeezed into a dense, hot cube. We are currently in the chute, sliding down. The distance to the Great Attractor is roughly 150 million light-years. In the grand scheme of the universe, this is next door. In the Laniakea supercluster, it is downtown, but the distance is also a prison of causality. We can never influence the Great Attractor. We can never send a signal that will arrive in time to change anything. We are purely passive observers. The information flows one way, from the attractor to us. Its gravity reaches us, its light reaches us, its doom reaches us. But we are mute. We cannot shout at the storm to stop. The asymmetry of influence is total. The Great Attractor dictates our future, but we are utterly irrelevant to its existence. It does not know we are coming, and it does not care. The Seven Samurai, the team of astronomers including Burstein, Davies, Dressler, Faber, Lindenbell, Turlevich, and Wegener, published their findings in 1988. It was a bombshell. Before them, the universe was smooth. After them, it was flowing. They fundamentally changed the paradigm of cosmology. They showed that we are part of a dynamic system. But the terror of their discovery was initially masked by the excitement of the science. "We found a mass," they said. But the implication was, "We found a trap." It has taken decades for the existential weight of that discovery to sink in. We are not just floating, we are falling. The samurai didn't defeat the bandit. They simply identified the fortress where the bandit lives and realized we are being dragged there in chains. The conflict between dark energy and the Great Attractor is the final battle for our soul. Dark energy wants to isolate us, to freeze us in a lonely universe where no other galaxies are visible. The Great Attractor wants to crush us, to burn us in a crowded fire. It is a choice between two dystopias. Currently, the attractor is winning the local battle. The gravity is strong enough to hold the local group together and drag it towards Centaurus. But eventually, billions of years from now, dark energy might accelerate the expansion of the space between the attractor and us faster than we can fall. We might be ripped away from the edge of the precipice at the last second, only to be cast into the freezing void. It is a reprieve that offers no comfort. We can think of the Great Attractor as having an effective event horizon. Not a literal black hole horizon, but a horizon of no return. Once a galaxy crosses a certain velocity threshold towards the cluster, it can never turn back. The escape velocity becomes higher than the speed of light, or simply physically impossible given the energy available. We crossed that horizon eons ago. We were born inside the horizon. The entire history of the human race has taken place inside the falling capsule. We have never known a stationary universe. We have always been rushing towards the impact. The forbidden object is not a destination we chose. It is the destination that chose us before the Earth even cooled. If we could hear radio waves, the sky in the direction of the Great Attractor would be screaming. The synchrotron radiation from electrons spiraling in magnetic fields, the thermal Bremsstrahlung from hot gas, the pulsars ticking like clocks, it is a cacophony of high-energy astrophysics. The silence of space is a myth created by our limited ears. The universe is loud. The Great Attractor is the loudest place in the local volume. It is a roaring waterfall of energy. We are a small canoe drifting down a quiet river, but we can hear the roar getting louder every millennium. The static on your old TV set includes a tiny fraction of cosmic background radiation. In a way, the Great Attractor has been whispering to us through our technology for decades. Why do we call it forbidden? Because the data was forbidden by the dust. Because the destination is forbidden by the heat. But also because the knowledge changes us. Knowing about the Great Attractor forbids us from believing in a special, static, safe home. It forbids the comfort of the steady state. It forces us to accept a universe that is in constant, violent flux. It forbids the fantasy of permanence. Nothing is permanent. Even the galaxy, the largest object we can conceive of as a home, is just a leaf blowing in the wind. The Great Attractor is the wind. The forbidden nature of the object is the forbidden realization of our own insignificance. The hierarchy of structure is clear and terrifying. The local group is a village. The Virgo cluster is a town. The Great Attractor is a city. The Shapley supercluster is a megalopolis. And the cosmic web is the nation. We are currently traveling from the village to the city. The density of information, of mass, of danger, increases with every step up the hierarchy. We are provincials entering the capital. And the capital is a place where small things like solar systems are ground up to feed the growth of the giant elliptical galaxies at the center. The urbanization of the universe is a process of concentration and destruction. We are part of the rural flight towards the gravitational center. The name Great Attractor carries a specific dread because it implies agency. It attracts, it pulls, it beckons. It is not just a great mass. The word attractor suggests a siren song. It personifies the gravity. It makes the physics feel personal. It feels like a trap. And in the mathematical sense of a strange attractor in chaos theory, it is a trap, a state toward which a system evolves. We are evolving towards the attractor state. The name was perfect because it captured the mystery and the inevitability in 2 words. It is the title of our doom. The dark flow measurements by Kashlinsky extending to 3 billion light-years imply that the Great Attractor is just a local ripple. The entire observable universe might be sliding. Imagine a tablecloth being pulled. The cups and plates, galaxies, are moving relative to each other. But the whole cloth is moving too. We are on the cloth. The thing pulling the cloth is outside the room, outside the observable universe. This is the multiverse tilt. We are sliding towards a catastrophe that happened before our universe was even born, a remnant pull from the inflation era. The Great Attractor is just a fold in the sliding cloth. If the multiverse theory holds, and we are colliding with another bubble universe, the Great Attractor region would be the, quote, impact zone. It would be the place where the physics of 2 universes interact. This could explain the weird velocity. It could explain the mass discrepancy. We might be seeing gravity leaking in from a twin universe. A mirror gravity. This is speculative, but it fits the forbidden theme perfectly. We are looking at a wound in reality, where the blood of another universe is seeping in. The Great Attractor is the scar tissue of a cosmic collision. Could the Great Attractor be the Great Filter? The Fermi paradox asks why we see no aliens. Maybe the answer is location. Maybe civilizations that arise in the dense clusters like the attractor are wiped out by radiation and instability. Maybe civilizations in the voids die of isolation and lack of resources. We are in the Goldilocks zone, the suburbs, but we are moving into the city. Perhaps the Great Filter isn't behind us. It's ahead of us. It is the Great Attractor. As galaxies converge, life becomes impossible. The silence of the universe is caused by the fact that everyone eventually falls into the fire. The ultimate fate of galaxies in a high-density cluster is to become red and dead. They lose their gas. They stop making stars. They turn red as the blue stars die out, and only the old red dwarfs remain. They become zombie galaxies. The Great Attractor is a graveyard of these zombies. The massive elliptical galaxies at its core are dead worlds, brimming with old stars and black holes, but devoid of new light. We are a vibrant blue and white spiral, full of youth and star birth. We are heading to the retirement home of the universe, where we will be stripped of our vitality and left to fade away in the red twilight. The problem of cosmic variance haunts us. Because we only have one vantage point, Earth, and one universe to observe, we don't know if the Great Attractor is rare or common. Is every observer in the universe falling into a local monster? Or are we uniquely unlucky? The statistics suggest that Laniakea is a typical supercluster, which means the universe is full of these traps. Every region has its drain. Every galaxy has its executioner. We are not special in our doom. We are just one of billions of flies caught in billions of webs. The mediocrity of our situation is almost as terrifying as the danger. To visualize the depth of the gravity well, imagine a rubber sheet. The sun makes a tiny dimple. A black hole makes a deep puncture. The Great Attractor makes a canyon that is hundreds of millions of light years wide. We are rolling down the slope of this canyon. We can't climb out. The geometry of space-time dictates our path. We are following the curvature of the universe. To change course, we would need to flatten space-time itself, a feat requiring infinite energy. We are on rails, and the rails go down. In the far, far future, hundreds of billions of years from now, cosmology will be impossible. The expansion of the universe will have pushed all other superclusters out of sight. The Great Attractor and its merged components will be the entire observable universe for any civilization living there. They will think the universe is static, eternal, and limited to their island of stars. They will have no evidence of the Big Bang, no evidence of expansion. The Great Attractor will become the everything. We are the last generation of observers who can see the truth of the expanding cosmos before gravity locks us into a solitary confinement cell. The local group lies near the supergalactic plane, a flattened distribution of galaxies. Most of the bright galaxies we see lie along this band. The Great Attractor lies in this plane. We are part of a flattened pancake of matter. This structure is not accidental. It is the result of the collapse of the cosmic web. We are living in a pancake that is being folded. The Great Attractor is the crease where the folding is happening. The geometry of the universe is closing in on us, flattening our reality into a dense sheet of destruction. Let's analyze the velocity vector one last time. 600 kilometers per second. It is a vector sum. 300 kilometers per second towards Virgo, plus 400 kilometers per second of Virgo towards the attractor, plus the attractor towards Shapley. The numbers stack. It is a compounding debt of gravity. We owe velocity to the universe, and the universe is collecting. The vector points directly into the dust of the Milky Way. It is a hidden arrow. If we could see the vector in the sky, a giant red arrow pointing to our doom, society might be different. But the arrow is invisible, written only in the redshift of distant light. The Centaurus cluster, Abel 3526, is the visible face of the Great Attractor. It is one of the closest rich clusters to us. It is a beast, teeming with hundreds of galaxies, bathed in X-ray gas. But it is just the front door. The true mass lies behind it, in the normal wall. Centaurus is the guard dog barking at the gate. The fact that even the guard dog is a massive supercluster gives you a sense of what lies in the master's house. We are intimidated by the servant, unaware of the power of the master hidden in the dark. The Hydra cluster is another component of this system. Hydra and Centaurus are often spoken of together. They are the twin heads of the monster, the Hydra-Centaurus supercluster. They are gravitationally connected. We are being pulled by a multi-headed beast. If we avoid Centaurus, Hydra gets us. The net is wide. The basin of attraction is broad. There is no threading the needle here. The entire region is a trap. The mythology of the Hydra, cut off one head, two more grow, is apt. Every time we map a galaxy in that region, we find two more behind it. The combined mass calculation is the forbidden number. 10 to the power of 16 solar masses, a 1 followed by 16 zeros. That is the mass of the Laniakea concentration. It is a number so large it loses meaning to the human brain. It becomes abstract. But the gravity it generates is not abstract. It is physical. It is the force that holds your feet to the ground, multiplied by a quadrillion. It is the force that dictates the architecture of the sky. We are living in the shadow of this number. It is the weight of God pressing down on the scales of the universe. The invisible nature of the Great Attractor is its greatest weapon against our sanity. If it were a black hole visible to the naked eye, we would worship it or fear it. But because it is hidden, we ignore it. We go about our daily lives, worrying about taxes and traffic, while our entire world is being dragged into a cosmic shredder. The disconnect between the scale of the threat and our daily perception is the essence of cosmic horror. We are sleepwalking into the fire. The universe does not scream. It whispers in math, and few of us are listening. The cosmic web is not just static filaments. It is vibrating. The flow of matter into the attractor sends shivers down the web. These vibrations might be detectable. The song of the web. We are listening for the death knell of the universe's structure. As the attractor pulls tighter, the web gets taut. The tension increases. We are on a tightrope that is being winched in. The tension in the gravitational field is rising. Someday the rope will snap, or we will reach the winch. Either way, the journey ends. The Great Wall is a barrier in the sky. If you could see gravity, the Great Attractor would look like a towering cliff face of warped space. We are base jumpers who have jumped off the edge of the void, falling towards the ground. The ground is the wall. The fall takes billions of years, but the ground is rushing up to meet us. The wall concept emphasizes the solidity of the structure. It is a wall of matter, a barricade against the nothingness, and we are going to crash into it. There are unseen variables in the equation. Dark energy might change over time. It might get stronger, big rip, or weaker, big crunch. If it gets weaker, the Great Attractor wins completely. If it gets stronger, the attractor is torn apart. We are betting our lives on the stability of a cosmological constant we don't understand. We are passengers on a plane where the pilots, physics, are arguing over the controls. The destination is uncertain, but the turbulence is guaranteed. The end of greatness is a scale in cosmology roughly 300 million light-years across. Above this scale, the universe appears smooth. Below this scale, it is lumpy. The Great Attractor is the biggest lump just below the end of greatness. It is the largest possible structure allowed before the universe becomes uniform. It is the maximum deviation from the norm. It is the ultimate rebel against homogeneity. It pushes the laws of structure formation to the absolute limit. It is the biggest thing that can exist. The paradox is that the universe is supposed to be the same everywhere. But if you live near the attractor, the universe looks very different than if you live in a void. The cosmological principle is a statistical average, not a local truth. Locally, the universe is unfair. Some get the void, some get the cluster. We got the flow. We are in the rapids. The fairness of the universe is a lie told by statisticians. The reality is a postcode lottery of doom. The bulk flow challenge to the standard model is still one of the biggest open questions in physics. If the flow is real and extends past the horizon, our model of the Big Bang needs revision. It means the explosion wasn't symmetric, it was lopsided. A lopsided creation event. What caused the tilt? What was there before the bang to tilt it? The Great Attractor points a finger at the pre-Big Bang era. It hints that the seed of our destruction was planted before time began. Kashlinsky's measurements of the dark flow used the scattering of CMB photons by hot gas and clusters, the Sunyaev-Zeldovich effect. It was a brilliant use of the universe's own backlight to see the shadows of the flow. The shadows are moving. The entire skeleton of the universe is drifting. This drift is the most haunting evidence we have. It's not just one rock falling. It's the whole mountain sliding. We are on the mountain. The CMB dipole is the most precise speedometer we have, 369.82 kilometers per second. We know the speed to 2 decimal places. We know exactly how fast we are dying. The precision is mocking. We can measure our fall with exquisite accuracy, but we cannot stop it. Science gives us the ability to quantify our doom, not to avoid it. we are the most informed victims in the history of the universe. If you could take a God's eye view of Laniakea, you would see the beautiful, terrifying, intricate filaments of light glowing in the dark, all twisting and spiraling towards the center. It would look like a nervous system or a circulatory system. And the Great Attractor is the heart. It is pumping matter. It is the beating heart of our local reality. But it is a heart that consumes the blood it pumps. It is a cannibal heart. As we enter the final phase of our analysis, we must look at the Great Attractor not as an object, but as a process. It is a verb, not a noun. It is attracting. It is an action that is currently happening to us. The forbidden object is the event of our own capture. We are not discovering a thing. We are discovering our own status as captives. The bars of the cell are made of gravity. The warden is dark matter, and the sentence is eternity. The investigation is over. The realization has begun. Consider the terrifying illusion of stillness. You are sitting in a chair, reading this, believing you are stationary. The ground beneath you feels solid. The air in the room is calm. But this is a sensory lie constructed by your biology to keep you sane. In reality, you are spinning on the Earth's axis at 1,000 miles per hour. You are orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. The Sun is orbiting the Milky Way at 500,000 miles per hour. And the Milky Way is falling towards the Great Attractor at 1.3 million miles per hour. If you add these vectors together, your true velocity is a staggering, dizzying number that would rip your mind apart if you could truly feel it. We are not living on a rock. We are living on a projectile. The Great Attractor is the target. The stillness you feel is just the silence of the bomb before it hits the ground. We are trapped in an inertial frame of reference that blinds us to the violence of our trajectory. The process of virialization is the endgame of a galaxy cluster. It is the state where the kinetic energy of the galaxies balances the gravitational potential energy of the cluster. It sounds peaceful, like an orbit. But inside the Great Attractor, virialization is a state of chaotic equilibrium. Galaxies do not orbit in neat ellipses like planets. They swarm. They buzz like angry hornets in a hive, changing direction violently as they pass near other massive galaxies. The relaxation time, the time it takes for the cluster to settle down, is longer than the current age of the universe. This means the Great Attractor is still young and unrelaxed. It is a dynamic, turbulent mess. We are not heading toward a settled system. We are heading into a construction site where the girders are made of galaxies and the workers are supermassive black holes. The chaos of the attractor is the only constant we can rely on. The investigative journalist must point out the convenient location of the Great Attractor one last time: the zone of avoidance. The darkest part of our own galaxy blocks the view. It is statistically improbable that the most important feature of our local universe lies exactly behind the one curtain we cannot open. It feels like a cosmic censorship. If the universe were a simulation, this would be a rendering trick. Hide the complex calculations of the singularity behind a texture map of dust so the observers don't see the glitch. The Great Attractor is the backstage of the universe, where the props are stored and the machinery is exposed. We are the audience, and we are slowly being dragged onto the stage to see how the magic trick is really done. And the trick is just gravity, crushing everything into a single point. There is a concept in physics called the black hole information paradox, where information that falls into a black hole is seemingly lost, violating quantum mechanics. The Great Attractor presents a macroscopic version of this paradox. It is an information sink. The history of billions of stars, the light of millions of civilizations, the structure of thousands of galaxies, all of it flows into the attractor and is scrambled. The unique identity of the Milky Way will be erased. We will become just another stream of gas and stars in the halo of a supergalaxy. The attractor does not preserve history. It consumes it. It is the eraser of the cosmos. Our legacy, our signals, our very existence will be homogenized into the heat and noise of the cluster core. We are heading towards a place where who we were no longer matters, only how much mass we have. Imagine the night sky of a planet located deep within the Great Attractor's core. It would not be black. It would be a hypersky. The density of stars would be so high that the sky would glow with a diffuse, permanent twilight. Thousands of galaxies would be visible to the naked eye, looming large as moons, swirling in the dark. Supernovae would be a nightly occurrence, bright flashes illuminating the landscape. It would be a sky of terrifying beauty and overwhelming activity. There would be no dark ages for a civilization there. They would be bathed in the perpetual light of destruction. To them, our lonely dark sky with its few thousand stars would seem like a tomb. We are afraid of their fire. They would be afraid of our cold. We are moving from the tomb to the fire. The dipole repeller serves as the perfect antagonist to the Great Attractor's protagonist. In the story of the universe, they are the twin titans. One pushes, one pulls. This duality implies that the universe is governed by gradients. We are sliding down the gradient. The repeller is the high ground of potential energy. The attractor is the low ground. Physics dictates that everything seeks the lowest energy state. We are simply following the laws of thermodynamics to their logical conclusion. The forbidden object is just the bottom of the hill. The horror comes from realizing that we are not climbing. We are rolling. The ascent of man is a lie. The descent of the galaxy is the truth. We are falling rocks, dreaming that we are birds. The atoms in your body, the carbon, the nitrogen, the iron, were forged in the hearts of dying stars. But where did those stars come from? They condensed from gas clouds that were already moving under the influence of the primordial density fluctuations that created the Great Attractor. In a very real sense, the Great Attractor is your ancestor. It is the gravitational grandmother of our local space, and now it is calling its children home. The iron in your blood is being pulled by the iron in the core of the Centaurus cluster. It is a family reunion of matter. We are not strangers to this object. We are physically connected to it by the history of the universe. The pull you feel is the pull of origin. We are returning to the source. Visualizing the cosmic web requires us to think in 4 dimensions. The web is not static, it is tightening. As gravity acts over billions of years, the filaments get thinner and the nodes get denser. The Great Attractor is a knot that is tightening. We are sliding along a strand of silk towards the spider. The dark matter that makes up the web is the silk. It is sticky. Once you are in a filament, you cannot leave. You are channeled. The freedom of space travel is an illusion. We can only travel where the gravity wells allow us. We are constrained by the invisible geometry of the dark sector. The Great Attractor is the inevitable destination, because the road we are on has no exits. It is a one-way tunnel through the dark. Let's reiterate the speed one more time. 600 kilometers per second. It is a number that demands respect. It is faster than an explosion. It is faster than the solar wind. It is a significant fraction of 1% of the speed of light. And it is a bulk speed. It is not just a few particles. It is quadrillions of tons of matter moving in unison. The kinetic energy involved is enough to shatter worlds. If the Milky Way were to hit a stationary wall at this speed, the energy released would vaporize the galaxy instantly. Fortunately, the wall of the Great Attractor is made of gas and stars, so the collision will be soft and slow, dragging out the destruction over millions of years. We will not die in a bang. We will die in a slow, grinding friction. The Great Wall nomenclature in astronomy is evocative. The Sloan Great Wall, the Boss Great Wall, the Centaurus Great Wall. These are not walls of stone, but walls of probability. They are regions where the probability of finding matter is 100%. We are flying towards a wall of certainty. Behind us lies the void, the region of low probability. The universe is segregating itself into regions of something and regions of nothing. The Great Attractor is the capital of something. It is the densest reality in our vicinity. To enter it is to enter a region of hyper-reality, where gravity, radiation, and mass are dialed up to the maximum settings. We are leaving the vacuum and entering the plenum. The multiverse leak theory regarding dark flow in the Great Attractor is the most Lovecraftian of all scientific hypotheses. It suggests that our universe is not a sealed bubble, it has a leak, or it has a contact point. The bruise on the sky is where another universe is pressing against ours. The Great Attractor might be the shadow of a mass in a parallel dimension. We are being pulled by a ghost that doesn't even exist in our spacetime. We are chasing a phantom. If this is true, we will never reach the source because the source is outside. We will just accelerate forever towards the edge of our reality, pinned against the cosmic glass by the gravity of a stranger. Could the Great Attractor answer the Fermi paradox? Where is everybody? Maybe they are all in the Great Attractor. Maybe that's where the party is. Or maybe that's where the graveyard is. If advanced civilizations can manipulate stars, perhaps they use the flow to travel. Perhaps the Great Attractor is a meeting point. Or perhaps the radiation there wipes out everyone before they can say hello. The silence of the radio sky might be because the loud places are too dangerous for life. We are in the quiet rural silence, wondering where the noise is, unaware that the noise is a scream of dying worlds in the cluster core. Relativistic time dilation means that the closer we get to the massive concentration of the Shapley supercluster, the slower our time flows relative to the voids. We are moving into the slow lane of the universe. To an observer in the dipole-repeller void, our galaxy would appear to be turning red and slowing down. We are becoming frozen in time. This is the event horizon effect on a billion light-year scale. We are fading from view. The Great Attractor is not just hiding itself, it is hiding us. We are disappearing into the gravitational mist, leaving no trace for the rest of the cosmos. We are being archived. The X-ray data from satellites like ROSAT and Chandra has stripped the flesh off the universe to reveal the bone. The bone is the hot intergalactic gas, and the Great Attractor is the biggest femur we have found. The gas is heated to tens of millions of degrees by the sheer pressure of gravity squeezing it. This gas glows in X-rays, a light we cannot see with our eyes. If we had X-ray eyes, the Great Attractor would be the brightest thing in the sky. A blinding sun spanning 20 degrees of the horizon. We are blind to the true ferocity of the universe. Our biological eyes evolved to see the gentle light of a yellow sun, not the screaming X-rays of a supercluster. We are ill-equipped to see the monster. Laniakea means immeasurable heaven in Hawaiian, but looking at the map of flow lines, it looks more like immeasurable hell. It is a web of traps. Every line leads to a knot. Every knot is a grinder. The beauty of the name masks the violence of the physics. We map these structures with elegant lines and colors, making them look like art. But they are maps of force. They are maps of domination. The Great Attractor dominates Laniakea. It is the king of heaven and it demands tribute. The tribute is the mass of 100,000 galaxies, delivered over billions of years. The dualism of the attractor and the repeller feels almost religious. Good and evil, light and dark, push and pull. It suggests a Manichaean cosmology where forces are in eternal conflict. But in physics, there is no good or evil, only vectors. The vector points to the attractor. Does that make it evil? No, it makes it inevitable. We project our fears onto the gravity. We give the monster a face. But the monster is faceless. It is just mass. That is the true horror, the indifference. The Great Attractor does not hate us. It simply bends the space we live in, and we slide down the curve. The radiation environment of a rich cluster like the Great Attractor is the forbidden aspect for biology. Cosmic rays, high-energy protons, would flood any planetary atmosphere. DNA would be shredded. Life as we know it requires a quiet backwater. The Great Attractor is a roaring rapid. Moving there is a death sentence for complexity. We are evolving towards a state where biology is impossible. The future of the universe belongs to rocks, gas, and black holes. Life is a temporary anomaly in the suburbs, soon to be corrected by the urban renewal of the supercluster. We must remember Vela, the Vela supercluster. It is the shadowy figure standing behind the Great Attractor. Every time we think we have found the source, the horizon recedes. The Great Attractor was the answer in the 80s. Shapley was the answer in the 90s. Vela is the answer now. What will be the answer in the future? Is there an omega structure? A single point where all matter in the universe is heading? A big crunch localized in space? The trend suggests yes. The universe is not expanding uniformly. It is unraveling into knots. We are just one thread in the biggest knot of all. The dark flow extending beyond the horizon implies an infinite chain of attractors. We are pulling on a rope that has no end. The investigation can never be completed because the evidence is leaving the universe at the speed of light. We are left with clues, footprints, and shadows. The Great Attractor is the only piece of the puzzle we can reach. It is the ambassador of the infinite. It stands at the gateway to the unknown, blocking the view, daring us to come closer, and we are complying at 600 kilometers per second. The zombie galaxies within the Great Attractor are a warning. They are galaxies that have been stripped of their lifeblood, the hydrogen gas. They can no longer make new stars. They are just drifting collections of old, dying suns. This is the fate of the Milky Way. We will become a zombie. We will join the legion of the dead in the cluster core. The Great Attractor is a necromancer, turning living, breathing spiral galaxies into undead elliptical shells. The vibrancy of our current existence is a fleeting phase of youth before the eternal gray of the cluster takes over. Spaghettification usually refers to what happens to a human falling into a black hole, but it applies to galaxies too. As we fall into the potential well of the Great Attractor, the Milky Way will be stretched. The tidal forces will pull the front of the galaxy harder than the back. We will be unraveled. The beautiful spiral structure will be torn into a long stream of stars. We will look like a streak of paint on a canvas. The Great Attractor is the artist, and it paints with the ruins of galaxies. We are the pigment. The event horizon of the Laniakea supercluster is the boundary of influence. We are well inside. We passed the point of no return billions of years ago. We were born inside the trap. There was never a time when humanity was free from the Great Attractor. Our evolution, our history, our future, all of it has happened during the freefall. We are like children playing in a falling elevator, unaware that the cable snapped long before we were born. The crash is inevitable. The only question is when. If the universe has a soundtrack, it is the low-frequency hum of gravitational waves. The Great Attractor is a symphony of these waves. Black holes merging, neutron stars colliding, massive galaxies smashing together. The fabric of space is humming. We are moving towards the orchestra. The vibration of space-time gets stronger the closer we get. We are approaching the crescendo. The silence of our local space is a pause in the music. The Great Attractor is where the bass drops. Contrast this with the silence of the voids. The dipole repeller is silent. Nothing moves. Nothing happens. It is the peace of the grave. The Great Attractor is the noise of the city. We are caught between the silence of death and the noise of destruction. There is no middle ground. The universe does not offer a quiet, safe harbor. It offers only extremes. We must choose. Do we want to freeze alone in the dark or burn together in the light? We have chosen the light. Or rather, gravity has chosen it for us. Biology is temporary. Gravity is eternal. Our bodies will turn to dust. Our planet will be swallowed by the sun. Our sun will become a white dwarf. But the gravity of that white dwarf will still be falling towards the Great Attractor. The you that is made of matter is transient, but the you that is a unit of mass is forever bound to the flow. Your gravitational ghost will complete the journey, even if your consciousness does not. The Great Attractor claims the mass, not the mind. It is a materialist monster. The map of Laniakea looks like a leaf. The veins of the leaf are the flows of galaxies. The stem is the Great Attractor. We are a cell on the edge of the leaf, flowing down the vein towards the stem. The organic nature of the structure is unsettling. It implies growth. Is the Great Attractor growing? Yes. It is feeding. It is getting larger every day. It is an organism made of galaxies. And it is hungry. We are the nutrients flowing in the sap of the universe. The legacy of the Seven Samurai is the realization that we are not lost. We are found. We know where we are. We are in the flow. Before them, we were ignorant of our motion. Now, we are aware. Is it better to know? Does knowing the speed of the car make the crash less painful? Perhaps not. But it makes it meaningful. We are not drifting aimlessly. We are part of a grand cosmic migration. We are the pilgrims of gravity, seeking the holy land of the Great Attractor. The Hubble tension, The disagreement between different measurements of the universe's expansion might be solved by the great attractor. If we live in a local hole or a local flow, it skews our measurements. The attractor is warping our view of the entire cosmos. We are trying to measure the universe with a bent ruler. The great attractor bends the ruler. It is the bias in our data. It is the flaw in our lens. We cannot see the truth because we are inside the anomaly. From a God's eye view, the Milky Way is just a speck of dust. The great attractor is a slightly larger speck of dust. The universe is a dusty room. But to us, the speck is everything. The scale of the universe is the ultimate humiliation. The great attractor is massive beyond comprehension, yet it is tiny compared to the whole web. It is a local tyrant in a vast empire. We are oppressed by a petty warlord of gravity, unaware of the emperor, dark energy, that rules the whole realm. The end of cosmology will come when we merge. Once we are inside the great attractor, we will not be able to see out. The dust and the glare will blind us. We will lose the history of the Big Bang. We will lose the view of other superclusters. We will become an island civilization, believing the universe ends at the edge of the cluster. The great attractor will become the universe to our descendants. It will be the limit of their knowledge. We are the last ones who can see the outside world. Is gravity the great filter? Civilization requires stability. The great attractor destroys stability. Therefore, civilizations are filtered out as they approach the attractor. We are currently passing through the filter. The fact that we are here means we haven't hit the mesh yet. But we are getting closer. The Fermi paradox is just a map of where the gravity is too strong for politics. We are alone because we are the only ones currently falling through the safe zone. The blue shift. Most of the universe is redshifted, moving away. The great attractor region is blue shifted, moving towards us or us towards it. Blue is the color of approach. Blue is the color of high energy. Blue is the color of radiation. We are moving towards the blue light. It is not a welcoming light. It is the Cherenkov radiation of a cosmic reactor. We are moths flying towards the bug zapper. The blue shift is the warning sign we ignored. The void pushes back. The dipole repeller is expanding. It is chasing us. We are running from the void, but the void is getting bigger. We are sandwiched. The pressure is rising. The universe is a vice. One jaw is the repeller, the other is the attractor. We are in the middle. The vice is closing. The result is the local sheet, the flattened pancake of galaxies we live in. We are being forged by the pressure of nothingness and the pull of everythingness. The final crunch. While the universe might end in a freeze, our local cluster will end in a crunch. The great attractor is a pocket of the big crunch scenario surviving in a big freeze universe. It is a relic of the old cosmology. It is a dinosaur of gravity refusing to die. We are living in Jurassic Park, and the T-Rex is the Centaurus cluster. The rest of the world has moved on, but here, the monsters still roam. The loss of information. When we merge, the map of the Earth's orbit will be lost. The constellations will be lost. The history of the human sky will be erased. The great attractor resets the board. It wipes the memory of the galaxy. It is a hard reset for our sector of the universe. Whatever we achieve, whatever we build, eventually it will be fed into the grinder. The only immortality is mass. The only legacy is gravity. If there are future civilizations inside the great attractor, they are made of tougher stuff than us. They live in radiation-hardened shells. They tap the energy of black holes. They surf the gravitational waves. They are the post-biological entities that can survive the fire. We are the soft, squishy biologicals of the quiet void. We are not built for the city life of the cluster. We are the rural peasants of the cosmos. The past determines the future. The density fluctuations that created the great attractor happened in the first nanosecond of the universe. Our fate was sealed before the first star was born. This is determinism on a grand scale. We never had a choice. The dice were rolled, and they came up, great attractor. The illusion of free will is broken by the reality of the flow lines. We follow the line. The great attractor is a singularity of purpose. In a purposeless universe, it gives us a direction. Go there. It is a command. It is the only clear instruction the universe has ever given us. Expand is a vague command. Go to Centaurus is a specific order. We are obeying the order with every second that ticks by. We are good soldiers of gravity. The cosmic web vibrates. We are the spider feeling the twitch in the web. The twitch is the great attractor. It is pulling. The tension is palpable in the velocity vectors. The web is alive with force. We are stuck to the strand. We cannot let go. The spider is reeling us in. The great attractor is the spider at the center of the local web. And it is hungry. The Shapley connection is the final link. The great attractor is just a moon of Shapley. We are satellites of a satellite. This demotion is painful. We are not even falling into the main boss. We are falling into the mini-boss. The hierarchy of the universe is vast and indifferent. Shapley is the true king. The great attractor is just the tax collector gathering the mass for the king. The Norma core, this is the bullseye. The center of the Norma cluster. This is where the density peaks. This is the drain hole. If you could see it, it would be a swirling vortex of light and gas. It is the eye of the storm. We are in the outer bands of the hurricane. The eye is waiting. The calm in the center of the eye is a lie. It is a black hole. The hidden truth is that we love the mystery. We love the forbidden object. It gives us something to fear other than ourselves. It gives us a cosmic enemy. The great attractor is the dragon on the map. We need dragons. A safe universe is a boring universe. We prefer the terror of the flow to the boredom of the void. The great attractor makes us feel alive because it threatens to kill us. The philosophy of the fall. Falling is surrender. We have surrendered to gravity. We are not fighting it. We are riding it. The great attractor is the ultimate acceptance of our physical nature. We are mass. Mass falls. Therefore, we fall. It is a syllogism of doom. The logic is flawless. The conclusion is inevitable. The reality check. Look at your hand. It is moving at 600 kilometers per second. Look at the wall. It is moving at 600 kilometers per second. The air you breathe is moving. Everything is rushing towards the great attractor. It is the unseen current that unifies our reality. We are all in this together. The great attractor is the great unifier. It brings us all to the same end. The scale humiliation. We are small. The great attractor is big. That is the simple truth. But the forbidden nature comes from the fact that the big thing is hiding. It is a shy monster. It is a lurking giant. This makes it sinister. A visible giant is a wonder. A hidden giant is a threat. The great attractor is the threat in the dark. The dark victory. Dark matter wins. Dark energy wins. Dark flow wins. The universe belongs to the dark. We are the anomalies of light. We are the brief candles burning in a dark room. The great attractor is the wind that will blow out the candle. The darkness is the natural state of the universe. We are the interruption. The interruption is ending. The forbidden conclusion. We are not meant to be here forever. The universe is not a home. It is a process. We are part of the process. The great attractor is the next stage of the process. It is the recycling center of the cosmos. We are being recycled. Our atoms will be used to build the next generation of stars in the core of the cluster. We are raw material. The attractor remains. Long after Earth is gone, the great attractor will be there. It is a monument that outlasts its builders. It is the pyramid of the local universe. It will stand until the end of time. It is the permanent mark on the sky. The forbidden object is the only thing that matters in the long run. It is the legacy of Laniakea. We are coming. That is the message the Milky Way sends to the great attractor. Every second we are closer. Every second the pull is stronger. The reunion is scheduled. The invitation has been accepted. We are rushing to the appointment. We will not be late. The great attractor is waiting. So, do not fear the dark. Fear what is pulling you into it. The great attractor is out there, behind the dust, waiting for us with open arms of gravity. It is the most forbidden object ever discovered because it reveals the ultimate truth. We are not the masters of our fate. We are just falling debris in a universe that is breaking apart. And we are falling fast.